Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Knights of Last Call. My name is Derik Melinda, and I am joined this evening by my two good friends. We are live in the studio. We've got, that's right, it's Mr. Aaron Smith. And then we also have the one, the only, the camera settings are still on, Bob Bumbarger.
Follow me as I follow you.
All right.
Oh, I think I look better with the settings.
You think you look better with the settings?
They're like,
All right.
oh, we know how pale he is.
Right. We are coming to you live tonight from the studio. Really excited to be here because we are tonight. Number one, we're kind of getting used to being back in the studio.
In a rhythm.
Yeah, getting back into our rhythm.
Have to like drive places now.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't just like stagger drunk into the computer to then stream Pathfinder.
I know everyone loves, just listening to me talk all for 3 or 4 hours.
I mean, it's not bad.
And for 30 years.
But what we're really here for
and misfortunes game, but hope this relieves some of Blax's misfortune.
There we go. Sorry. So thank you, Ben. Ben just tipped $50. Can't stay long because of his misery and misfortunes games. But hope this relieves some of that Blax's misfortune. Thank you so much, Ben. That is incredibly grateful for you because tonight, what I was going to say is also about our friend Vlax, who has been a patron of ours for a very, very long time. He was actually the first person, Bob, who sent us.
He said, "What's your address?" We gave him the address. All of a sudden, there's a case of beer on our steps.
And both you and I remember that the beer is
Blood and Honey.
Blood and Honey, yeah.
That's right. It was actually really tasty. Out there from Oklahoma.
All the way from Oklahoma. So, yeah, Vlax and his family unfortunately got hit with some pretty nasty weather these last weeks and suffered some damage to their property, to their home, and they're looking at some pretty expensive bills. And he was going to step away from the Patreon and, because he needed to conserve money. And I said, hey, buddy, the least I can do is let you stay on with us for a while you figure that out. You've given so much to this community. You've been an incredibly supportive GM and player, and like everyone has the best things to say to you. But I thought, hey, we were going to be here in the studio tonight anyways. Why not make this a charity stream? So tonight, all of the tips that we make tonight from the Stream Elements tips are going to go. I'm going to give those to Vlax.
That's right.
Feel free to super chat, but just be aware that YouTube does take a percentage on the super chats. But if you do the Stream Elements tips, we basically pay no fees. So that's all going to go 100% straight to Vlax and his family to help them out. So. Thank you so much. Rui says Smith's still a bit dark in the camera.
That's because he's not wearing his sunglasses.
All right, turn it up. I'm ready.
All right, there we go. We're obviously we're going to still continue to figure stuff out. Part of it is because there's another light that Smith's not letting me turn up. Hold on a sec. Here we go. Bob, entertain the masses.
Well, I'm glad that everyone is here. I've been real busy with Northern Reaches Season 2. So if you have any questions about that, I'll be happy to answer those tonight as well. It's been crazy and hectic. I think we just hit 91 players and 43 GMs.
That's insane.
Yes.
That is absolutely.
I mean, Strat's been like really pushing for the 2-to-1 ratio, and I'm like, we're like right about there, Strat.
Well, he's nuts because that's also insane.
That is also
but the fact that we're like almost there is insane as well.
That's very insane.
Now, that's pretty close to what we had last year. Okay, Jonka tipped. By the way, I don't think I turned off the things.
Probably $3. I can't tell if you're surprisingly big or if that table is surprisingly small.
We need to get that audio.
There's no way the table is small.
Yeah, Jonka said, I can't tell if y'all are surprisingly big or if that table is surprisingly small.
Yes. No.
Sean C tipped $25.
They are big and the table is big.
Sean also tipped. Happy to help out. Thank you, Sean, for that generous tip. Thank you, Jonka, for the tip as well. So the answer is it is a big table.
Yes.
That being said, I'm not the man I was.
I'm small, like weirdly small. Like I don't know if it's my torso. Remember we had that one night school where you look like 10 times bigger than me. It's not that Derik's sometimes bigger. I'm just really like weird. My posture's bad and stuff. So
right.
Like
Did you bring your cushion for the show?
I need to bring my extra. I need a booster seat. That's why I need my booster seat.
I'm just fat and overweight, but
Same.
You're also tall. I mean, you're tall.
You're tall.
Great. So I'm large vertically and horizontally.
Correct. You were just
At least you're shaped properly then. I mean, me and Smith are not tall guys.
Whoople tipping $10. Cheers to the overlords for all the rules writing, GM wrangling, data crunching, and more support.
I was wondering if that was Whoople from that era. I was like, how many people got that name?
Yeah. Here, Bob, I'm going to go turn that tip off.
Oh, okay. No problem. Yeah, Whoople, thank you again. And I know Whoople is helping some of the other patrons in Northern Reaches. He's a very intelligent GM. And some of these GMs are new, and they're looking for guidance. And him and a handful of other veteran GMs have been like reaching out and trying to help players understand how to do site design and location design. And it's been really helpful to have, and Smith knows this, the community, which you would think like, I'm new, I'm nervous, and then you realize that like the players that are playing in your game, they've been in your shoes. They've been new GMs, and they're like ready to help you. What do you need help with? What do you need? Oh, I can help you with that. Oh, I can help you with that, fix an idea or reshape that encounter so that it's right like you're thinking. And don't overthink this. And maybe if you do it that way. And everyone's been, like incredibly helpful. I have not heard any games where like, oh, that was kind of a waste of time. Everything's been really exciting, and all the games are really really good. So with 40-something GMs, obviously it can get a little crazy. I think a handful of them are running like we got 3 games usually daily almost now. So there's 3 games today.
Yeah,
I know on Saturday we got 3 games happening about the same time. So
the flash, the sun, whatever they're called, the sunglasses they're far too much. Are you wearing those over regular glasses?
Yeah, that's what he is. They look like you're about to play like a game of poker in a second.
I want to give away.
We're about to play Vampire the Masquerade. All you need is a trench coat.
You look like the Big Lebowski.
There is definitely Big Lebowski energy.
Don't look directly into it.
We also just got a $5.
It burns us.
We also just got a $5 tip from Gossamer, who did forget their name, but that's all right, saying all the best, Vlax. So thank you so much, everybody, for the continued support. So tonight is the sort of return, if you will, of nightlife. And, you can tell because we pulled out the old podcasting boom mics.
What's nightlife?
To get a little bit more intimate on you as we coming to you live from the ones and twos.
Oh, hitting you with the ones and twos.
Hitting with the ones and twos. Nightlife was originally... we got a tip from Cal who said, I think Bob is a level 11 accountant. Okay. Wow. Okay, great. $5 from Anonymous, sending thoughts, prayers, and cash to Blax. That's the best we could hope for. Thank you for that.
Oh, there's a handful coming in. Frost Chat.
Oh, crap. Here we go.
69. Nice.
So thank you so much for that tip. Frost Jack, $10. Thank you so much for that.
So Frostjax was nice. He said Vlax ran the first NR game he played and made him feel super welcome. Hope this helps. And I don't remember exactly which one. I know Vlax ran his first game, I think, in the Dead Coast, part of the Northern Reaches. But then eventually he became well known for this big 3 dungeon layer, the Deep Halls.
The Deep Halls was so infamous.
Yes.
Because in Season 1, we had lives, but you could still permanently die. And Thin Wizzy,
if you ran out of all your lives.
If you ran out of all your lives. And Thin Wizzy, I think lost 2 characters in the Deep Halls.
Yep, he did.
And at this point, we're like level 9, level 10 or so. Like they were higher level.
Work.
Yeah. And that character was just gone. In fact, it was so infamous that in Season 2, we actually named one of the new areas in Azamar off of one of Thin Wizzy's characters, who Vlax brutally slaughtered. So
well, he took a fall. If we should say
he took a fall.
The king of all things trolling, Vin tipped $69 for Vlax. Thank you so much. The self-confessed cynic showing his heart, showing his true emotion. Thank you for that, Vin. It is very much supportive and very much appreciated. I'm sure Vlax will appreciate both sides of the tip and the amount. Frosty tipped $25. Northern Reaches, ride or die.
That is a dedicated man when it comes to Northern.
Oh yeah, Frosty's great, and people that might not know Frosty, he was very, very new, if not like, I don't know if he's ever even played a game when he first started Northern Reaches. He had just started, like, I think, learning the rules, jumps in. Everyone's super welcoming. The stories are great. He ends up in our final campaign at the end of the season, our final fight. And now he has turned his hat around. He's going to try GMing.
He's a game master this year.
I mean,
Full circle.
I mean, again, we talked about this when we kind of started this whole process, which was, sure, Northern Reach was a fun atmosphere, fun opportunity for people to do kind of a cool immersion MMO type of experience. But one of our stated goals, Smith, was we wanted to be able to have a safe place
100%.
for new game masters.
And I think, what really makes that work is that so much of this community in particular are made up of game masters already. Before even NR, Knights of the Last Call just attracted a ton of game masters and disproportionate to players, right? So
Weirdly disproportionate.
right. And it makes sense, right? Because like this is, listen, if you're talking about, the philosophy behind a role-playing game, right?
Fair.
No disrespect to the 5e players out there, but most 5e players, listen, they're showing up on their Friday night. They're there to roll some dice, have some fun.
They don't care about the philosophy.
They don't care about the philosophy. Yeah, that's totally fine. That's all right, right? You're a special breed if you're here on this channel, right? So,
yes, I mean, obviously, if you're watching us now or in the
correct,
past, you are obviously the superior gamer.
That's 100%.
And also, if you just think about it in general, like how nice these people are, they're helping the people in the community. But look, here now, one of our community members needs help, and you can see what's happening.
Incredible. It's an incredible community.
They're helping out their community member as well. Not only helping them in terms of RPGing, but helping them in life.
Yeah, and you see that all the time, constantly, right? Yep. People helping each other on the channel, giving advice. Like, it's funny, right? One of my favorite sections of the Discord is actually like the life section, right? And I was telling my wife this. I love going in there because you got the people who are into photography and they're sharing all these pictures and talking about these beautiful places they're going to. One of my favorite is the fitness section, right? And I'm not exactly a fit guy, but no, it's you go in there. And people are so encouraging and so supportive of one another. There's a weekly check-in. People will go in there and be like, "Yeah, I'm having a hard week. I didn't get where I needed to get this week." And everyone's just like, "Man, don't worry about it. Keep trying. Get out there." Right? Like supportive and affirmative, but also like pushing, in a really good way, right? And I love that. And it's just that and so many other things in the community. It's so welcoming. It's so just supportive. And at the same time, like we also just don't take shit, right? So it's like, someone
interesting.
It's an interesting mix, right? But like someone needs help. I don't mean this in any sort of hand wave way. I am not remotely surprised at the turnout.
What's also funny about our Discords? I've been in many Discords, and I think you guys have been in many more than me. When a new
not that many actually.
Really? Oh, okay. So a new person comes in Discord, like 10 or 15 people. What's up? How you doing?
Yeah.
Nice to see you here.
What are you playing?
Every morning.
How can I
Good
help?
morning, everybody. Good afternoon. What's up? I'm in Discords where like people don't even talk.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like this community is like, you joined, welcome, what's up? I'm like, yeah, man, how I feels awesome coming into something like that.
That's great.
We should get Jonka's
Jonka, yes. Jonka had a $3 tip. Thank you, Jonka. Where is the all equipment rank series? Do you really want to do me like that?
And then
Jonka?
there's people like this in the community.
I mean, we have our ribbings. We like to troll a little bit to each other.
I need a sequel. Oh, no. Okay, never mind. They corrected. I need a sequel to Derik's slow descent into insanity.
Okay.
AKA
they're trolling you.
They're trolling me.
Got it.
And this is something that we learned a long time ago, Smith, which is there are two things that are very popular, which is getting into the weeds and deep talks about RPGs and trolling me.
Correct.
Right? Like doing, if you can bother me, it's like a win.
This is the entertainment the channel provides.
Right, exactly. Satir with their $10 tip. It's their first time tipping. Happy to help a fellow knight. Wow.
Thank you.
What's funny is
So what?
Satir was
Blacks gets your money, but not us?
That's
What's
correct.
going on?
That's correct.
Satir was my first time tipping him into the grave, Northern Reaches.
Oh.
That was
Wait,
my
was your first kill?
First kill.
Oh, wow.
You always remember your first one.
That's what I said to someone else. We always remember your first.
Satir, I don't know if you should be proud or ashamed that Bob managed to put you down.
That's
But you know what,
a
Bob?
great point.
That was back when you were actually.
Pretty sure it was
that was
Satir.
actually
It
back
wasn't
when you
Sidon. It was us.
That was actually back when you cared and you were making
Made good campaigns.
making good adventures. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I don't know what the heck to even do.
Satir, good point. He says, I help you guys every month. That's
That's
that
true.
is very
That's
well.
true.
Good
Thank you.
True story. We also got another super chat from Self-Confessed Cynic who said, big props to Kaz, by the way, for his huge fitness progress as well. Yeah, I think Kaz is down like 30 pounds.
Yeah, he's been a monster.
I mean, he's just crushing it.
Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, huge inspiration for me. Everybody who can kind of guide me in the right direction.
I mean, Cass is out there. He's digging trees up. Last time I talked to him,
He's planting them now.
He's planting them.
He's planting them. He dug them up and then started replanting new ones.
Planting mine, and he was like, "Oh, me too, dude."
No, he left work early one day because he's like, "Yeah, I just had an earth. I need to get more trees." And he brought them back and just started shoving them into the earth.
Right. I don't have that luxury. It's more like I got to go talk for 3 hours about some Fabula Ultima RPG or
hey, the writers
listen,
talk about Pathfinder 2.
You want to stream yourself planting trees? I'm confident people would watch, and also you'd be the more popular on YouTube.
I mean, apparently, Wilpelstein says that if you change this, or is it Wilpelstein who said that? Oh, no, Rule of Cool said if you change this, the name of the typical to Sprite One Shot, you're going to make even more money.
That is very true. Sean C. coming in with $25 says, let's just get this thing done. And let's sprinkle some on top. So live for 15 minutes and we've reached our goal. So,
all right, excellent. Good night, everyone.
Well, thanks so much. And we'll see you next a night. So let's go. No,
that's a good point, though. We should have done Vlax a solid and ran a Sprite adventure.
I mean, we will. I mean,
I don't know if Vlax is a big Sprite guy.
No, but the tips to troll Derik.
Oh,
fair.
The ultimate troll. I mean, nothing. With the exception of, arguably, which was also a troll, with the exception of the final episode of Rise of the Rune Lords with the Wheel of Pain and on Ultimate. No program of ours ever made as much money as our Leshy and our Poppet.
One shot. Yeah, how close were those two together?
Poppet did better.
That's because I was the one GMing the Leshy one. They were like, gosh, I can barely put up with Bob.
$25 from Marvelous Mr. Mean saying, happy to help one of our own. Thank you so much for that. That is extremely, extremely generous of you. We've reached our goal, but listen, all of it keeps going to Vlax.
Yep.
So please feel free to, if you're coming in, if you're new, you just joined us. We're fundraising for our friend and fellow patron Vlax, who unfortunately had a lot of problems last week. Suffered a lot of damage to his house and his property due to some extreme weather, and we're happy to help him out. So.
Rule of Cool, are you on the Patreon? I can't remember.
It's publicly available.
Oh, it's publicly available.
Yeah, the Pop-Up VOD.
Okay, I didn't know if we kept that one because we just didn't monetize it. That's what we did.
Yeah.
It was not for kids.
There's no way.
No, Rule of Cool. It is. If you go back to December in our live, if you go to our channel and you click on the live tab, that's the key. You got to click.
That is right.
You got to click on the live tab because so much of our stuff is live streams. If you scroll down to December, you'll see something called the Poppet Holiday Carol, Poppet Christmas Carol, is what it's called, and it is
awful.
It is a whole other thing. By the way, we just got a $20 super chat from Jackal Torn Moons.
There's another GM in Northern Reaches.
Another GM, yes, who says, "Got to fill up the other bar too. Let's go Knights." Listen, I mean, you guys are just incredible and amazing. Henry, $25, sharing the love.
That's right.
Derik didn't even finish explaining what the tips, like what we were going to do for the tips.
Yeah.
We were you done fucked up. We were gonna. We'll still get to it, but I was going to say before all these tips started coming in, this
we were going to work for our money.
Yeah, we're going to work for our money. This
answer questions.
Yeah, this is bringing back the idea of nightlife, and like I was saying before, originally nightlife. We used to get together in this studio to play Rise of the Rune Lords. And that involved kind of herding cats. And so we would get everybody to come in, and then the call would come in. Hey, I can't make it today. Something happened. Something came up with a kid. Something came up with whatever. So it was like, okay, well, we can't really film an episode if we don't have everybody here. But we've got me, we've got Bob, we might have Nick or Tim or something like that. Right. So what can we do? Hey, you know what? Let's just get around and let's just talk and let's film it and let's put it on the channel. And we did that.
Especially at the time, I was barely learning PF2 at the time and trying to really get involved with this. And these topics that we were coming up with were super new GM and Derik very experienced GM. So it's it wasn't just topics. It was also a very big learning experience for some of the newer TTRPG people, I think too.
Yeah, and especially at that time, we did talk a lot. We ended up talking a lot about Pathfinder 2nd Edition.
Yes.
Because none of you fucking read the rule book.
Yeah, I mean, I read it, but
he did not read it.
To this day, that remains true.
I have read the rule book, but it doesn't matter if I read that thing. I could read it twice. Whether I retain the information is what really matters. And I don't.
Long-
I could read Magic Missile 10 times.
What if you had an audiobook? If I can,
I thought about this.
if I can pay Steven and Mark to have Mark read the book
No,
to you
no.
on recording, would that help with your gameplay?
I don't know.
Should we try it?
I mean, I don't know. I
well,
just need
we could
Magic
try it
Missile read to me over and over again.
You're kind of off the barbarian now, so I'll see.
I'm so over the barbarian.
Maybe Mark can read
so
the
over the
Ranger
barbarian.
chapter.
So
to you.
I saw something which I never thought I'd see last Friday, by the way. Incredible.
saw a lot of things I didn't think we were going to say.
Yes, that's true. Saw a lot of things I didn't think I was going to see. You, at one point, Bob, you stopped raging.
I did. I said I'm sick of this. I'm not doing it anymore. That's right. Bracing the-
like
bracing
full-
the-
on Hulk.
Not like stop, like, oh, like
Infinity War.
The combat went too long. No, like a combat started, and Bob was like, I'm not raging.
It's not worth it.
He's like, I don't care about the bonus damage. The penalty to armor class sucks, and then I'm locked into just swinging swinging attacks, map attacks till the end of time.
Now, to be fair, there was a bunch of events that happened before that. One, I was raging. I'm a spirit barbarian, so I only get like +3. So it's not like the biggest thing. But we do have a house rule to give me extra temp hits points, which is 2 times my level.
Right. Normally it's
plus
your
my
level.
con.
Normally it's your level plus your con modifier.
Yes.
I'm trying out. We had some,
Which is actually nice.
Yeah, we had some conversations on the Patreon, or actually, I think it was when we were doing the barbarian.
Yep.
Stream.
Yeah,
and
we
people
talked
said,
about
like,
it.
how would you make the barbarian better?
Yeah.
And there are some different ideas. And I said, one way I would definitely do it is give them more temporary hit points. And, we threw out some numbers like 3 times level and 4 times level. But I was like, let's just try 2 times level plus con modifier and see if that feels like more.
It definitely felt better.
I mean, it feels definitely better. Right? Because I think we all agree that the 5th edition barbarian.
5e barbarian. That's if I'm playing 5e, I'm playing barbarian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm level 6. I'm feeling like a BA, I'm raging, and then you shoot me with the dang web, hashtag web effects for the NR people, up against the wall, and now I'm immobilized. And you'd moved, so I was able to hit you with attack opportunity. But then I failed 3 escape rolls in a row, and I couldn't do anything else because all I can do is basically try to escape with map. And then I failed in the next turn too.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm so over this. I can't use.
So
my
I don't understand
spells.
why that-
I can't use anything.
Like, what does that have to do with rage? Because you were going to pull out a scroll and cast it from
No, I have spells.
Yeah, the point is that it wasn't even that.
I'm a Death Warden.
It's just that, like, Bob, they fought 2 Driders, right, which are flesh warps.
Oh, those things are pretty
in
wicked.
Pathfinder 2,
They're sweet.
They're flesh warps. I had a random encounter in Abomination Vaults, and I had 2 Driders come in.
It's all fault because Smith just kept wanting to open a dang portal and wouldn't let us just do anything.
Well, because if we'd had the portal, then we could have escaped, and then all those things that were messing up with us wouldn't have mattered.
I mean, this is fair.
Yeah, by the way, another shout out from Self-Confessed Cynic who says, nightlife, heart. Vin, aka the Self-Confessed Cynic, has been a huge proponent of nightlife for a very long time.
Oh, yeah.
And like so many members
He's
of
the
our
oldest hero?
Yeah, Vin is the longest continuous hero in the Knights of Last Call, which is our highest tier.
Vin's like, oh, crap, I forgot to cancel that.
Yeah. Ooh. Turn it down.
Ooh, thanks for the reminder.
And he has always said that he felt like this was the heart of the show.
He likes chaos.
He likes chaos, but I also think he likes the back and forth. And I mean, he likes the conversation.
Unscripted.
Yeah.
And just knowledge and talking about stuff and letting it go.
Right. And ultimately, that is what the nightlife is about. Like, sometimes we have a goal. Sometimes we have a conversation, a topic that we specifically want to talk about.
And there's tangents.
But but also to be clear, when we used to do that, it was being recorded. Now we're doing it live, which means we can get feedback, we can get
talk
questions
from
you all, and then have that conversation right here, and maybe hear some of your points as well. Obviously, we can't, completely read the chat because we're obviously, here having a conversation.
We can read your super chat.
Yeah, we can read your super chat. Thank you, Cybersmith, for another generous super chat. Cybersmith, you were, I think it was our last Pathfinder 2 stream. I think it was the fighter stream. Cybersmith was just on fire with the 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 5 pounds, 10 pounds. Had a lot to say about the fighter. Cybersmith said, in the future, we will be able to download RPG rulebooks into our brains from FTP servers. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Come on, Elon, get that chip in.
That's a Neuralink. Let's go.
I don't think they're going to be FTP servers.
Yeah, they're probably not going to be FTP. Yeah. There's also a case to be made for not raging on round 1.
That actually is fair, but this was not. I just was like, I just want to be able to use anything I have in my arsenal, and I can't do that when I'm raging. Right. I am locked in.
So
to
be clear, so the Deriders came in. Bob raged, as you would expect. He actually had an opportunity to set up a flank with a rogue, which is great. He hit. He did some damage. He missed with his follow-up attack, and he was in the corner. And the Drider has a web attack. And the Drider hit him with the web. Obviously, AC's down, and the web immobilized Bob. And I was just thinking, and then I took, and then, you know, you're not supposed to know if your people have attack of opportunity. Bob happens to be level 6 and has attack of opportunity because he's not a complete idiot. Even though he's
know that now.
I was like, okay, he's going to get an attack of opportunity. Derik knows that, but the Drider doesn't know that. Drider moves away, and you got your attack of opportunity. You even hit, and you did some damage.
Yeah,
but I was like, okay, but I'm going to leave him immobilized in the corner. And I was thinking, great, he's going to escape. He's going to make the strength check. He's going to incur a multiple attack penalty. He's going to eat up an action. That's totally acceptable. Also, but I'm also breaking the flank. But you ended up failing
3 in a row.
Well, not only that, because remember,
in a row,
escape has the attack trait.
Oh, it was
so
awful.
after you fail the first escape, you're at -5.
I was demoralized physically.
Which doesn't even make sense. How can you be demoralized physically?
Your body was depressed.
Well, I guess that
do you
point,
mean that Bob was
yes,
demoralized?
Bob was.
Not
Me.
not your
meta.
player. Yeah.
Meta. I was physically, mentally demoralized.
So Bob ended up just spending his whole turn, and he was so frustrated because he was raging now, which meant when he looked at his character sheet, he said, all of these options are unusable to me.
Yeah.
And I have spells and I have items.
If we'd been playing 5th edition, you would have gotten an advantage to strength check to bust yourself out of that web, which makes total sense because you're raging. You're going to tear through the web.
I think there's like a feat. I think there's a feat a barbarian could take that might give you like a +1 circumstance bonus to strength checks when you're raging. Maybe there might be.
Probably like level 18 for it.
Nah, someone in the chat will know.
Save Versus and Zerverus just tipped and super chatted.
Those are very similar names.
I know. I was
Say it
like, did
that.
you pronounce that wrong? And I was like, oh.
Save Versus sent a $25 super chat, which got us to our goal, I think. Oh, no, we crushed our goal. Okay, wow, great.
Yep, we're done.
Damn it, I was doing Peloton, and Jackal beat me to the bar, Phil. Next game, need a party of all fighters. Save Versus, I'm in luck. I just got today my replacement seat for my Peloton because there was the recall on the seats because it was the most passive aggressive thing ever where they were like,
you told me about
yeah,
that.
they were like millions of people use Pelotons every year. Unfortunately, we have had 26 instances where the seat broke and one person had fairly serious injuries. Out of millions of satisfied customers, this is their way of saying, this statistically is such an anomaly. It doesn't matter, but we're doing this anyways. Anyways, I'm excited to get back to Pelotoning because I used to like to run treadmill, but I'm older, my knees, and I'm bigger and fatter now, and so I don't want to go through all that. So biking is where is for me where to go.
That's what my doc recommended. He's like, you're too fat to run, so it's the bike for you.
I love running though.
I like biking a lot more.
I love running. I feel like a fucking gazelle. Like once I'm in shape.
Well, it's weird because Derik
now
is
it's
a
more
really
like
good runner.
I honestly say, they always say that people are built for either strength or for speed. And like with the muscle fibers and stuff, I really do think I'm built more for
Distance.
Yeah, being
I think
an
you are
endurance
too.
runner.
And I am not.
Right.
I'm built the exact opposite.
Yeah. Anyways, Zerverus tipped $10. Said happy to see the first nightlife since I started watching you guys.
Oh,
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. I mean,
Full circle.
the goal here is a couple of things. Number one, we're still, by the way, figuring stuff out. You could
When
probably
you switch to that other scene, are those red lines? Do those appear on the actual cast? Those 144 pixel lines?
No. We're just seeing the OBS.
Oh, but don't they see that screen right there?
No. That's just the program monitor.
Okay, all right. It's throwing me off because it's on the other ones.
No, it's just because I clicked in the screen, so technically right now the object is selected. It's showing you how far away it is from all
Got it.
edges.
Okay, yeah.
Anyways, Bob being very professional.
Sorry. Broke the fourth wall.
Cybersmith, Zerverus tipping $10. The goal, Zerverus, is for us to do this more often. Like I said, we're still figuring things out. Like you could probably see in the upper right-hand corner of Bob's camera, there's like some changing colored lights. That's not what we're actually going to do. We just plugged in the light and we didn't get time to dial it in and fix it. But like the idea is that we're going to try to make this into a completely, immersive experience, not just for doing actual plays like Root and other, fun games, but also just things like this where we just sit around and we talk to you and we talk about games.
And eventually watch movies.
And eventually watch movies.
Yes.
Like this, Bob.
And video games.
Lollipop Candy tipped $25 and said, for Vlax.
Dun, 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 dun.
Which is like, I think it's like the 20th year anniversary of Return of the King this year or something.
It's Frodo is now legally allowed to drink.
Nice.
Wasn't he 33 or something in the book?
Yeah, that was in Hobbit years.
Okay.
And Cybersmith also tipped for the feat.
Oh, okay. What do we got?
Bob is referring to the level 1 adrenaline rush feat, which I think you were trying to get to. I don't remember adrenaline rush because I ignore the crap out of anything at level 1.
That isn't sudden charge.
It is not sudden charge. So sudden charge, and then I like deny advantage. Like those are like my go-tos. Or no, divine advantage. Yeah, no, you get deny advantage automatically. I think
You get deny advantage automatically.
Either way, I'm so over it. I was so over that. I didn't rage. I'm over the barbarian, and I'm going to go fighter. I already started building my one-handed fighter. Not one-handed. He's one weapon fighter.
He only has one arm.
Yes, one weapon wielding fighter, and I might have a shield on my back. But the idea is to like grab or trip or
Be functional combat.
the idea is to do something instead of what I did, which was waste a whole turn, and then when I finally got free, I ran to a corner just to try to get away from a dang fireball from these driders. And Smith was not happy with me when I did that, which was.
I did mock you openly and also on the Discord.
But
you're a raging barbarian that ran away.
But good thing was
from a caster.
This is how bad my night was. Then I get knocked down, dying 1, and I roll 3 failed death saves to kill myself.
Right.
And now I'm gonna go fighter.
And you're gonna have so much more fun.
I that's what it's about. So that's the idea. I'm gonna go fighter. My guy naturally died, and that's what it was. You guys survived. I don't know how we got out of there alive.
I mean, I continue to roll random encounters.
I know.
I mean, you guys had 2 random encounters. I mean,
Well, we had like 4 of those slime things or whatever that came at us.
Grothlets.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like the key is.
Oh, that web did work.
Yeah. So, we're kind of getting into this topic anyways. So, but before we began, we had Boothby, also a friend of the show, had tipped $25 while we were in our pre-warm-up. So that's why we started at $25 because Boothby had tipped before. He couldn't make it to the stream tonight, but still wanted to show some support for Vlax. So thank you so much for Boothby. But Boothby did have a question because that was what we were supposed to be doing tonight. It was asking, you all can ask questions and we'll try to talk about it and answer it. Yep. And Boothby had a question. He said, you've been talking about how much you've been enjoying AV and how you're really looking forward to it. Whereas you've clearly bounced off of and had other problems with other adventure paths in the past. What makes AV so different compared to those other adventure paths, or like what can you point out why that is succeeding, whereas perhaps others do not?
I got 2 points
Yeah.
of why it's been fun or why I think it's been fun.
I mean, sure. I mean,
that works.
For most people, that's all that really matters.
One is because we're playing 3 party members, and we're paying.
So
you're basically playing
to be
PL
clear,
-1.
You're saying that independent of the adventure, you're saying just playing with 3 people is nice.
I think the combat goes faster. Now, it does help that we have all now played Pathfinder pretty steadily for a few years, and I think that we just know our rules better. So our turns go faster because we know what's going on. Also, there's 3 of us, so it goes faster. Like, you're going to aid, you're going to do this, like, boom, 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 boom.
Right. We all know
nice.
each other's
Yep.
play patterns. We've been playing for a long time.
So that's nice. And I think also we're like sort of, that also balances the encounter differently a little bit. So we're actually able to hit more a little bit, even though there might be more monsters to make it severe.
Right.
But then also, 2xing the maps actually is pretty dang nice. Some of those map rooms are pretty awful. So you adjusted the AP to make it twice as big. So do I think it's
Just to be clear, what you like has nothing to do with AV.
That's what I say. I don't think it's an AV thing because I think the story. There was definite problems with Quest of the Frozen Flame that once revealed were pretty rough. I don't see those yet in AV. It feels very like there's obviously a way to do this and go, but there's also things that we can do. We're getting these portals open now, and there's sort of this idea that we're going to keep going down and find Belcora and whatnot.
I mean, the fact that you even remember her name.
So I'm shocked.
I'm shook.
Level up.
Wow. That was a big moment for me.
That was.
It's not that
All right, guys,
drunk.
we're done.
Not
Channel's
that
closed.
drunk.
That's it.
Now, obviously, I have my thoughts, but Smith, what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I agree with the non-AV things, which certainly have helped, right? But in terms of AV specifically, I think that they did a great job, I'm going to say, emulating a dungeon crawl because, I know we got some old school fans in the audience that may want to argue about that. But, they hit all the points that make dungeon crawling fun, particularly like a large dungeon. Mm-hmm. And
I agree.
Like, what is that, right? So the ability to have agency, right? When you go into AV, you have so many different options in how you want to explore it right off the bat. Yeah, in fact, Derik likes to make fun of us. The first time we played AV,
My minor spoiler alerts.
Oh yeah.
sorry, I'm going to talk freely about AV. So
Spoilers. Abomination Vaults.
spoilers up until starting book 2.
That's right.
Yeah, so book 1.
Yeah, book 1. Derik likes to make fun of us to this day still. When we first played AV, we didn't even cross the bridge. We didn't go in through the main door. We went around and came in through the ruined side, because we were like, oh, there's obviously some sort of trap or encounter here, so we're just going to ignore that and go. And we didn't go in there until we were level 4.
Well,
You guys walked around the building and went to the back thing.
Yeah. We found the secret entrance to level 2 before we found the main entrance to level 2.
right. You actually went around. You went to the secondary island. You explored everything in there. You had your encounters in there.
Yep.
And then you found the kind of secret stairway down to level 2 before you ever entered the main part of the dungeon. In fact, the other part about it is there's kind of there's a gremlin, the mitflits. The mitflits.
Those things that you guys couldn't hit and you kept forgetting what resistance.
No.
The will-o-wisps.
Think of those little blue goblins.
Those were little
okay.
blue. They were little gremlins. They're like a little evil fae.
Yeah.
And they're kind of set up to be kind of like the monsters of the area, and there's a king of the mitflits, the king gremlin, and he's kind of, if not the boss of level 1, he's one of the sub bosses of level 1. By the time you guys were I think you guys had already leveled up to 2, or maybe even close to 3. I don't know. By the time you actually went and fought him,
yeah.
And so when you
pasted him.
You went so backwards through the dungeon that was the last thing that you encountered.
Yeah,
and you embarrassed it.
Yeah.
He had this pet thing, and you guys just killed it.
And that's some of the freedom that AV lets you do, right? Because it's not as scripted as Quest for Frozen Flame, where you got to basically hit all the plot notes. And Quest has some freedom in that you can choose different encounters you take on your very linear journey, but it's not remotely the same where you can go up and down. And I was going to say too, I'm really enjoying book 2 of AV, because when you go into that, you immediately have access to the 3 different levels that's in book 2 right off the bat. So, Bob, if we wanted to, we could have been screw level 4. Let's go straight to 7 because we're badasses.
Yeah, we were in a room where there was a staircase-ish thing.
Yeah, and it goes all the way down.
And they were like, we can go to level 7 right now. We're like, ugh. That sounds a little risky.
But the fact that it's a choice is awesome,
Correct.
right?
We could make those choices. And lots of times we're like, should we go left? Should we go right? Should we go straight? Derik's like, do guys whatever you want.
Yeah.
You tell me. We listen to a door here. We listen over there. It's fun things are going on.
I love that. I love the general agency. Even last session was us hey, let's unlock these portals so that we can quickly leave and go back to town, right? And that was a player-driven thing.
Yeah.
We didn't even hit an actual set encounter.
We did not.
I mean, to be clear, you did not. There were no set encounters. And to be clear, Abomination Vault does not include a random encounter table. But what it does say is, hey, Pathfinder 2 doesn't really use random encounter tables. But if you ever were going to use random encounter tables, you should probably use them here.
Right.
And, I happen to kind of know the random encounter rules from the wilderness exploration. And so it kind of just, kind of adapted them over to dungeon exploration. And again, I'm very open with this information. For example, the ritual in order to awaken a portal takes 1 hour. Aaron's sorcerer has this ritual and wanted to perform it and made the check and failed. And
it's a hard check.
Yeah.
I needed a 13. I kept rolling 3s and 4s.
Right.
To be honest, we rolled awful this session.
Rough.
Yeah.
I had a second level burn hands did 7 damage. I mean, it was that's with deadly sorcery.
With deadly sorcery. Yeah. By the way, do the math on that.
Dangerous sorcery.
Dangerous
sorcery. Yeah. Whatever.
So they wait. They spent an hour. They didn't succeed. And I think the problem that people get into is this idea of pacing and why certain things feel lame or bad. Because on paper, you go, okay, well, let's say you're playing Abomination Vaults normally. There's this awaken portal ritual. It takes an hour. You roll, you fail. You roll, you fail. You roll, you fail. You're not using any sort of random encounters. The player, you're basically just playing roll till you succeed.
Yeah.
So the part
it means nothing.
So you added that that I know you said you added the random encounter table in there, but you added the so just so you guys know, Derik then rolls a d20 and goes 18 or higher random encounter, and
That's actually the Pathfinder rules.
no, not I know, but that wasn't an AV. Is my point.
AV goes. You should have an encounter table.
Got it. Because it
They don't give you.
No, it doesn't say you should.
Sorry. If you're going to have one, AV is the place to have it.
Okay.
The odds come right out of PF2's Wilderness.
Got it.
Rules.
So Derik kept making, and I love that when you.
And then Derik actually populated the table.
Well, and I also like that feel, and you used to do this a lot of times when we would spend too much time. You'd put some more dice in the dice pool thing.
Oh yeah, like the danger pool.
The danger pool, and that's the same thing. You roll this d20, and you said 18 or higher, and it was like a 7 or something like that. And you're like, okay, he's gonna perform another check. All right, I'm gonna try heal George.
Right.
Now it's 16
Time
or higher.
mattered.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, I don't know if we should be doing this anymore. I think we should
Feeling
be
that
kinda getting
tension.
back.
Right, and the thing is, it's not like the players are not like, oh, we have no idea what's going on. I'm very open with them. I said, yep, you can take another hour, but I'm going to make another check. But now it's 16 or higher.
I know.
And now it's 14 or higher.
Yeah.
And now it's
I can
whatever.
feel it.
Right?
I just needed to roll once the way
know.
Derik
By the
was
way,
rolling.
I think even like
By the way,
sometimes, George was even aiding you in one point, and we still couldn't get it.
Before we get too far ahead, by the way, I do want to call up a couple things. Ben had a question, and Cybersmith had a super chat. So let me do Cybersmith.
Yep, go for it.
So Cybersmith says it's going to have to catch the VOD. Thank you again for your support, Cybersmith. We appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. Cybersmith sent in a 15-pound chat. Super chat said, "I need to cook a meal." All right. GMing a mission in the play-by-post has given me appreciation for Pathfinder 2nd Edition's fungible narrative currency, which is time. I wish Pathfinder 2nd Edition telegraphed that better to GMs. I actually agree with that.
That's
I agree
actually
with
a
that.
really great
I do
comment.
agree.
Yeah, because you don't have hit points aren't a resource anymore. Right? Because what can you trade? Basically, 1-for-1 infinity for hit points is time.
Yeah.
And so if you don't make time important, the game is meaningless.
Right.
Now, to quote Ben, to quote
Proper
Gary
time
Gygax,
tracking is important for any serious milieu.
yes, if you are going to run any sort of fantasy milieu, time tracking is of the most importance. First most important. And
Most important.
yeah. But yeah, I actually think that's really well on, because if you look at what Cybersmith's talking about, there's so many things in Pathfinder 2 where you go, the price for failure is just time. The price for failing a medicine check is time.
Which by default is not worth anything. And if you think about it, you and I, one of the first things we house roll, whether it's in our campaigns or in our, is exploration time.
Yeah, we always
time meaningful.
We always make time meaningful. I mean, part of the big reason that we did it, we liked Torchbearer so much, was because the grind made that time pressure a real thing. Yeah. And I think that's really interesting. Cybersmith says D&D 4E did this with healing surges.
Agreed. Yep,
Pathfinder
100%.
First Edition did it with spell slots, which is pretty true. Spell slots or per day abilities.
Yeah.
And PF2E uses time, but doesn't really communicate that well.
Right.
And then Ben had a question, Bobby.
Yes, he said, are you doing sword and board, which I assume is sword and shield?
Yes.
And then and someone else said, or are you doing Warhammer freehand? I'm going to be doing Warhammer freehand.
Right. You want to play around with some of the grabbing.
Yep.
Now, to be fair, you're going to have all the equipment on you.
I mean,
so
I'm going
you
to have
can
a shield.
pivot. Yeah.
And then Derik reminded me, you probably should have a short bow too. Like, because you're a fighter, you're good at everything. Just start stacking it all up as long as you can carry it.
Yeah.
And I see no reason why not to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a great example is like if you're going to be basically fighting like a single creature, there's not as much to be gained from controlling it or grappling it, right? So in that case, you might just want to pull out a shield, and still head that up. And by the way, fighters, not only obviously everyone can use shields, but just like fighters get free attack opportunity,
They get free shield block.
they get free shield block too. And by the way, when you're not the sword and board fighter, you're probably much more likely to be like, yeah, I'll shield block. I don't care if my shield gets destroyed.
Right.
Like it's not like I'm gonna like be out 7 feet.
Right.
Just because I don't have a shield anymore. You just go, whatever. Like if my shield gets destroyed, sick. Combat grab.
You made me better.
Yeah, like does this count as a free hand now? Or am I holding the shards of my shield?
I'll talk to the Patreon before I build it, because I feel like a lot of people have some great fighter one-hand builds that I should be going towards.
Yeah,
so.
I mean it's pretty straightforward. But yeah, I mean I think that we kind of spent a lot of time on that. But I think that really what it comes down to is Abomination Vaults is dungeon, and it's not just a dungeon in name only, right? It's not a dino,
Right.
Yes.
Is that a real thing, or you just make that up?
I just made that up.
Oh, okay. I was like, really?
it's
That's
great,
what they
though.
do with that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say Quest had some dinos in it.
Yeah, Quest for the Frozen Flames definitely had some dinos.
Yeah.
in it.
Here's a cave. It's basically a hallway.
Right. And so, for me, I think it
also had literal dynamite.
It's a legitimate dungeon because there are questions, or there are decisions that you can make, places that you can go, and you don't need to explore everything. You don't need to have every encounter. There are certain things that give you some certain advantages later on that you might not otherwise get. So I think what really ultimately makes it work, Boothby, to answer your question finally, is it's a dungeon. And whether or not you want to admit it or not, Pathfinder 2nd Edition is built on the corpse of a of a dungeon crawling game.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, they've looted it.
Yeah,
but the stuff that the person they were looting it from. We're all having this conversation. We all stopped mid sentence because of Ben's.
Yeah, I can read the word syphilis.
Yeah, all that popped off of me on the screen was syphilis. Ben, thank you so much for your support.
Good luck for your syphilis.
Good luck with the clap, sir.
Yeah, I know there was another question I missed, and then someone did ask that I did see. I missed the first question, but the second question was when are we going to do another Pathfinder adventure path or adventure? I want to say adventure because I don't know.
So what do we want to do with Path?
I don't know if I want to play another adventure path unless they're written like Abomination Vaults, which they're not. It just seems like an uphill battle.
In terms of APs, for me it would be AV or Kingmaker.
I'm just saying I don't want to put. Derik had to really rewrite.
Correct.
All of
that's
I'm not doing that. If he's rewriting it, you might as well just run a homebrew,
right?
Exactly.
Sandbox or something.
Yeah. So Rui says
continue.
So Rui says, so the dumpster fire. Rui says, I miss seeing the Knights play. Long time since Frozen Flame. You're absolutely right. Now, to be clear, Rui, we are going to be playing here on this channel.
Yes.
And just like all the other cool, hip content creators who have decided to abandon 5e and go embrace indie games, we too also are finally hopping on that indie game train.
Is it really indie at this point?
Because we've never...
How much fucking money does Magpie make?
Probably nothing. But
I mean, compared to who?
I mean, Avatar Kickstarter did really well.
I don't know, us.
The Avatar Kickstarter did really well.
Yeah.
But
so I want to play that too.
No, obviously we've been playing indie games and Powered by the Apocalypse Skin for a long time. But we are going to be playing more Powered by the Apocalypse, 2D20. I mean, I'd like to try a bunch of different systems here, mostly selfishly because I like playing with these guys.
Yeah.
And some of our
I want to learn
friends,
more things.
Yeah, some of our other friends who are going to be coming.
I mean, I'm finally getting in a comfortable spot with L5R. Then at first, it wasn't really my jam. Now I'm kind of like, are we gonna play L5R again? I kind of feeling that session. That's kind of wild.
I had a conversation with Smith, and I said, we were talking about how you were just like, fuck this barbarian and whatever. And I said, I got to be honest with you, Smith. I said, I think we saw something that I didn't think I would see. I go, I think at certain points during that session, Bob was like, I wish we were playing Legend of the Five Rings.
It was.
I could be watching Kaz play the sickest game of Go right now.
It was so much entertaining than being webbed to the wall.
It was absolutely ridiculous. So, again, I know I don't want to keep missing questions. Someone asked a question about 3d6 versus D20. Pathfinder 2, I mean, the D20 I just use as a percentage chance. So it's essentially a D100, but I'm using percentages. Basically, 18 or higher, it's an encounter, or 16 or higher, it's an encounter. 14 or higher, it's an encounter. I don't actually have that exactly tied to there being an encounter. And then once there's an encounter, I just have a D6 table that I built for the level that they're on, with just roughly moderate, like I think it has like 1 low, 3 moderates, 2 severes. And so then I just roll the D6 and then I pick that up. And I just kind of looked at the general tone of the monsters on that level. They're on level 5 currently, the training grounds, but also called the arena. And there's a lot of flesh warps and weird creatures. So it's like, okay, so one of the encounters was, 2 Driders. One of them was 4 Grothlets. What else is on that list? I think there's a ghost or a specter, some sort of incorporeal undead.
That would have been the one I raged for.
Yeah, because
I got my ghost touch.
Sure.
After that, again, I was worthless.
And so that's for Pathfinder 2 to make it quick and simple and easy and plainly simple. That's how I do it. And then in terms of using that D20, what I usually like to start off with is an 18 or higher per hour. And then if the group kind of stays in one place, or they're being loud, or there's a combat, or whatever.
That reminded me, we barricaded those dang doors with pitons. We barricaded ourselves in so you could do more rituals. And then the encounter happened, and we had to take the dang pitons out, and I kept failing those checks. I buried them in further.
They broke through the door, but you couldn't break through the door.
Bad of a night.
And
Forgot about that.
yeah. So what I'll do, and I communicate this, by the way. Obviously, this is something that GMs do, and if you're a good GM, you should be doing these. But these are basically Dungeon World moves. I'm not trying to say that like, oh, I learned this from Dungeon World, but like one of the Dungeon World isn't saying that these are the moves that you need to do. It's saying, hey, here's what good GMs do. You should be doing the same things too, which is tell them the consequences and ask, and basically say, hey, you can spend another hour here to work on your ritual, or to level, make a bunch of healing checks, medicine checks to treat wounds, right? But I'm going to make another encounter roll, and this time it's going to be 16 or higher.
Yeah, so what do you want to do?
14 or higher. Bob, I did the same thing in Rise of the Rune Lords, if you remember, at the end of the first adventure, when you guys wanted to go back to town because you wanted to put runes into your weapons.
Yes.
And I said, you can do that, but for each day that you spend in town, I'm going to take this D10, and it's going to start at 1, and then for each day, it's going to go to 2, to 3, to 4, to 5, and that's going to be the chance that when you get there,
that's that Goblin Fort,
that she will have relieved Malphasheknor.
Yeah.
And you will have to fight.
That was so hot.
You'll have to fight Malphasheknor. And I go, but I'm not going to roll it until we're in that final fight.
What was the name of that fort?
Thorn Top.
Thornbriar?
Thistletop?
Thistletop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where all the goblins.
That's that 3-armed goblin, like literally. No, that was in the basement.
That was in the
Never mind,
Cathedral
yeah,
of Wrath. That was a different place. But yes,
that was
PF1. That was
rolled that.
That was
like,
an easy encounter.
You talk about tension.
Cast snowball.
He told us about that like roll. I think it was like 1 or 2 sessions before we got there and get through it all. And so we get there and we go through this whole encounter. Now it's like, all right, time to roll the dice. So we've been anticipating this dice roll for at least a session.
I mean, you know this, Aaron.
That was intense.
What do I always call D&D? What do I always call role playing games? Right?
Gambling for people who don't want to actually lose money.
Exactly. And so I like to put that out there. Like, okay, you can make a big long bet. You can try to hedge your odds, but you're gonna get worse. Like there's gonna be this chance, and maybe it'll pay off. Maybe you'll get all the bonuses. You'll get your runes. You'll go there. I'll roll the D10. I'll roll a 6 or a 7 or an 8. She doesn't get Malphasheknor, and you guys have all these cool powers, and you can just crush them. But as it was, I rolled a 1 or a 2 or something like that. And I'm going, again, rolling it right out in front of everybody. So not only am I rolling it.
It was awesome.
Because a mistake that some GMs will make is they'll do things like, I'm going to roll this dice publicly. But they don't really announce what the die is for or what will happen if you roll
soft
low.
fudging.
They're also trying to write a check that they're not willing to cash.
That's exactly right. Exactly. So, a classic example of this would be like somebody being like, something will happen, and you'll be like, oh, Bob, make an athletics check. And you're like, oh, for what? And you're like, you'll see. But in reality, you have no idea what you're making an athletics check for. Like, you should know what this is about, because then you can make a decision like, am I going to use a hero point to re-roll this? Right. Is this an important check for my character?
Time will tell.
Yeah, it is a form of soft fudging, for sure. So the question is, will we ever play Pathfinder 2 on the channel again? The answer is, I would hope so. The answer is, I don't know how we do that, because I do think that the way that it's presented today, the way that our audience likes to engage with it, I really do think that Pathfinder 2 is better served with Foundry. When we do our live streams with Foundry, because then everybody at home can see exactly the log. They like to see the dice, all the little rules.
That's why we're going to be sitting here at the studio with our laptops.
Right. But we know that when we get together virtually, it doesn't have the same energy. And so then it's like, are we sitting here playing on a laptop with each other? I mean,
it is a solution.
It is a solution.
But I mean, I like playing with Kaz too.
And the game is still the same.
This game is the same.
The game remains the same. Great role-playing Debbie is in the house and says, I have no idea what's happening. But Derik is wrong. And Bob's movie recommendation is awesome.
Well, listen, that's pretty accurate.
No,
actually.
I want to watch movies. I'm just saying I don't know that people want to watch us watch people.
Oh, they absolutely want to watch us watch movies.
Oh, I thought they were saying that Bob knows what good movies is.
Oh, if that's what you were saying, then,
Bob's movie recommendation is awesome. Oh, no, he means movie night. Yeah, that's what he means.
Movie night, yes.
I had to reread that.
Bob taste, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, Isaiah, if we had a separate producer who can handle the Foundry side, I mean, that would be pretty sweet. You know, you guys were talking about integrating a TV into the table and all sorts of other nonsense.
I don't think we need to do all that.
I don't think we need to do all that. You know, RoboCop says just use Foundry for the maps, live, roll everything live. That's an option, RoboCop. But even then, I think people do like to see the dice rolls as they happen.
Yeah, we have a lot of step porn kinks people.
Yeah, they like to see, oh shit, it was 2d10 plus a d6 from striking plus a d6 from flaming plus
hit because of +1.
Math is tight. I like it.
We have the modifier matters. Now, Whipplestein says dice cam. We tried dice cams before. It did not work that well.
It was just like, where does it go on the screen?
Yeah, we don't. Real estate is a problem. And like, if we had a producer,
they could flip to it. That'd be way different.
That could hit a button and it would just put an overlay of the.
That'd be much different.
That would be a lot different. But you know, me doing this right now is.
We also talked about like doing like encounters where like a party of like all 4 fighters like go in and do an encounter, and then a party of like
like more like a combat and tactics
type stuff, which but it could be, you know, you building these like sort of homebrew encounters, which would be kind of interesting, and you're still playing PF2, which is kind of cool, like how to do that kind of stuff. We talked about that kind of stuff too. Someone said $15. No comment.
Yeah, it's an anonymous, no comment. So please
claim
it if it's you, but you know that would be a fine.
Look, I like PF2, and everyone knows if they're paying attention in the Patreon or on things that I'm saying. I'm basically trying to overlord Northern Reaches, and I'm in the thick of it. I love PF2, so if we're playing PF2, trust me, I'll be into it. But there are some challenges with those APs and stuff like that.
But yeah, I mean, what it really comes down to is interacting at the tables is great for us, and the other thing too is, and I'm just being kind of like honest here, which is, for me personally, Pathfinder 2 is difficult for me to do ad hoc because balance is important, and you don't want to mess with things too much. The math is tight, and one of the things that we have gotten I guess well known for, right, is the fact that we kind of interact with the chat, and they can have tip goals, and they can, mess with the game a little bit. But we learned with the Wheel of Pain.
It's true.
You can't mess with the game too much before it really starts to, or even Derik hero points, right? When people were tipping to give people hero points, you can't mess with the game that much before it just becomes untenable. And we like doing stuff like that. Not only, one, is it good for the channel, but two, I think it's fun for our audience. So playing games that aren't as tightly structured as Pathfinder 2, as an example, because the game is so well defined,
right?
Makes it a little bit easier for us in some ways. So
yeah.
But that being said, I mean, somebody pitched an idea a long time ago, which I absolutely love, which is there was sort of an original cast of characters, right? Which was
I know this
the backup characters, which was you had our friend Rory, who originally played Gore, who fell in love with the Elven Ranger NPC Shalelu and Osana, who then
This is all Rise of the Rune Lords.
This is all Rise of the Rune Lords. Rory didn't want to keep playing, so he left the game, and so Gore retired and became the sheriff of Sandpoint, along with Shalelu, who was sort of like an Elven Ranger hunter. In addition to that, you have our Bob's brother Danny, who played Villic the monk.
Lord Villic,
who was from Sandpoint.
Goblin monk.
And, he also left the game and was replaced by Tim. So obviously Tim and Nick and Bob and Matt went to Hook Mountain. And
I think there was a massacre there.
The name of the episode might have been Hook Mountain Massacre. But then if you go back, it's like Villic and Gore and Shalelu and Amiko were all these important NPCs/PCs who all kind of retired from Sandpoint. And they're still there. And
so to get assaulted by an army of giants.
And in the actual AP, the next adventure starts off with an attack on Sandpoint.
Yep. Right.
And so you could literally just pick those 4 characters up and have the attack come, and then have them realize, oh no, the Knights of Last Call failed or fell, and we hopefully stop the assault, and then it's up to us to finish what they started. And so it really does write itself. And that alone is compelling enough that it's like, cool. I do kind of want to do it because it does sound really compelling.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, there's things like that we could do, and for sure we're going to keep doing, I think, one-shots that we come up with. I think those kind
1
of
shots, 3 shots, 6 shots.
Well, I guess
Well, I'm saying
the
like,
holiday.
holiday stuff.
Oh, holiday stuff, 100%.
Those are great. I mean, we like playing PF2.
Yeah, if we had more time this year, we totally have been doing something for like July 4th. You know?
Yeah. I think we'll probably do Halloween again.
I would honestly love to do like 4 of those a year.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Damien said like, oh, seasonal.
Seasonal, yeah.
It felt like it was seasonal last year.
Speaking of which, we should probably start planning for the Halloween one.
No, I agree. I think Halloween's coming up.
I mean, I think Halloween's going to be kind of a big one for us, especially we got the studio now.
Oh, yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
That's very cool. Great role-playing Debbie. Honestly, I'd prefer other systems. I think you could bring production values and skills to these smaller systems. I don't see PF2 as other people.
Well, good news for you.
Yeah, so that is the plan. Also, quite frankly, look, Pathfinder 2nd Edition has been very good to us. It's what allowed us to build this channel up, and but there are other games that I enjoy playing, and I would like the opportunity to kind of show those off too. Because like I said this before, a lot of times I feel like very frustrated because it's like I talk about these ideas, but it's
Don't talk about it, be about it.
yeah, like I want to show,
Yeah.
and not just tell.
Yeah.
So that's where it's kind of nice. And again, some of those concepts I don't think work as well. Lollipop says, "What about Fabula Ultima?" Yeah, I don't know that I would ever like do a 20-level session campaign about Fabula Ultima.
We talked about adding to the list though.
Yeah, I mean, it could be six. It could be six sessions or something like that. I think that'd be pretty fun.
That's the one way to get Derik to get me to play Fate. So
Yeah. Jackal says the knights playing in a let's play that is affected by Northern Reaches clocks would be cool. Yeah, like we're playing as characters in the Northern Reaches. Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. That would be.
I mean, there are some NPCs from last season.
who made this horrible clock? So unfair.
I come back. I'm like, fuck these lumberjacks.
Real world implications.
Oh, you've missed the list. There's a new war starting now, the Breakfast Wars.
Oh gosh.
I can't tell if you're being serious.
I'm kind of being
It's
serious.
not. There's no war. It's just. They talk about breakfast.
Yeah, I'll go stir some shit up.
Role playing breakfast all day.
All right, 2 new factions. Breakfast and what? Brunch.
Second breakfast.
Second breakfast. The cynical cast of Knights of Last Call being pure-hearted warriors of light. Yeah, I mean that alone would be pretty interesting or fun. Rui says it would be really curious to see Bob playing Lords of the Five Rings.
But that's not the character I'm playing. I'm playing this kind of like arrogant.
You're a Shugenja.
Shugenja, but he thinks he's the bee's knees and he's real.
Right, you think you're like the chosen one that
Yeah.
will lead to your clan to like their destiny or
not
whatever.
happening. But I didn't even get to watch. I listened to another player play Go, and it was super awesome. Like,
And not
that was
actually, right,
intense.
and let me be clear about this, not actually play Go. Just you make games skills checks to
We
represent.
watched someone watching someone playing Go.
It was weirdly
No,
intense.
you watch someone pretend to play Go.
Yes.
What other people?
RPGs.
So George was in that session. He was in the room watching Kaz play.
Right, he was
pretending to go. So
right.
there was actually someone watching someone play
Right.
Go.
We were watching them.
Yeah,
But George was actually watching.
Right, dramatically slap the stones. But with so many things, right? It wasn't about the game of Go itself, right? It was about Kaz's status as a Crane samurai by birth, but married into the Lion Clan due to an arranged marriage, and feeling the need to sort of prove himself and sort of being challenged by these, born and bred lions, and sort of them sort of posturing against one another to see, who's better. Have we ever considered Pathfinder for Savage Worlds? Asked Mystics. I'm not a huge Savage Worlds fan. I
I
gotta
don't know
say.
if I know anything about Savage Worlds.
Yeah,
Which one is
I
that?
don't know enough.
Savage Worlds is by Pinnacle Press. It's they usually have a big. It's been around for a while. They
Well,
have-
I've heard of it. But
like you have different die values for attributes. It uses bennies, which are kind of like fate points, but not quite. The dice explode.
I meant more like what's the genre?
It's designed to kind of be universal.
Got it.
Like, I mean, I guess there's sort of like an era, an air of pulp kind of adventure,
Okay.
if I had to call it something like that. But it doesn't. It's kind of designed to be generic.
I mean, I like Pathfinder. I don't think there's something wrong with Pathfinder. It's just there's just Pathfinder, then playing Pathfinder and also streaming and watching the chat and doing all that.
It's actually really funny because like this group got like super burned out on Pathfinder, and then we got super back into
I mean,
Pathfinder.
Abomination Vaults fun.
Yeah.
Minus this last session.
They're gonna be sitting there and just be like, "Man, AV's a lot of fun. Like, yeah, this is a good campaign, But the tricky part is just streaming it well, right? Like it's hard to stream Pathfinder well.
Whipple's got a great point, actually, and a great tip.
Yeah. Well, Bob, what do we got?
Curious if you think that you're enjoying Pathfinder more simply because you aren't putting in the extra specifications on the game by streaming it.
All right.
I think there's a degree of that.
Because you're just at your home, eating pizza, drinking wine, playing Abomination Vaults.
Well, to be fair, all of that
streaming.
is more or less true from the way you guys were playing Pathfinder 2.
Correct.
You guys were typically getting smashed playing Pathfinder 2.
And actually, I do want to say, maybe this is just me being a softie, but like, I feel like when we're streaming anyway, we're just basically playing for our friends, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think it's a fair observation. I don't actually know how much it impacts us because,
Yeah, I honestly don't think it's that big of a change.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it is nice to be able to let our hair down. A lot of people have asked us, like,
Oh, your hair's down.
your hair is down. A lot of people have asked us, like,
Brushed it
oh,
today.
hey, why don't you stream your Friday night?
Ugh.
And again, obviously there's, we sometimes, we talk about our personal lives in a way maybe we wouldn't on stream, or we talk about things about the channel or our business, our personal lives, our work lives that, just aren't necessarily something that we would want to have on the channel.
Yeah, I don't even talk about my work on the channel.
Right. That's
real
one.
job.
Yeah. So that's one element of it. I think the other side of it, though, is, we're not famous content creators, but it is nice to have something that is just uniquely for us.
That being said, we've toyed with the idea of occasionally showing a glimpse, or we did the recording the one time.
We did a recording one time. It was very popular. I mean, it was Legend of the Five Rings. But again, I'm not opposed to the idea because, I'm already live, 3 days a week anyways. But yeah, I don't think we're enjoying it more. I think if we were playing this Abomination Vaults, the way and the style that we're playing it, right, which is us around a table,
Right.
3 of us quickly moving, using dry erase markers on a
If we just moved it here but played it the same way, I think we'd have just as much fun.
I think we would too.
The question is, would it translate to streaming?
That would be the challenge because, like,
Right.
we'd want to use the physical aspect of it, and we're just not really set up for it. And even if we were, it's not the same, right? Derek brings up a good point. A lot of our audience really likes like the stat porn of like seeing the
I like it
the
too.
stream, right? But when we're in person, though, it's not like that's happening,
Right, like
Correct,
you'd be
correct,
watching it, and it would be like a shot like this,
Right.
and you'd have
Some
some
plastics
minis that you really
Or
can't
you'd
see
have
that
to
well.
have an overcast.
You try to have some, so then it's like, okay, so now I'm not even seeing you. I'm just seeing this picture of a grid with some scribble marks on it.
you could do it like
the one
Rise, where you get us in little tiny pictures.
the one campaign I did, the one session I didn't even erase the map. I just kept drawing over it with the new map because we couldn't.
At the time, we didn't have enough tactiles yet.
So
now we have so many.
Now we have so many. But like,
Some of those are for Traveler.
that's true. But like, point is like, and then we're
Or
rolling our
Hexball.
dice, and you won't be able to see what they are.
That I would be. That is one thing that I think that's why playing on Foundry is so good. I want to see the dice so bad. And I'm not even watching. Like, if Smith's rolling dice, I want to see his dice. I need to see his dice. It's part of the interaction that I get. Like, when we're at your house on Fridays, I'm watching every dice roll that people are making. So it's if I'm on the stream, what am I doing? Like, what am I watching? I'm like, oh, what did he get? What did he get? Oh, yeah. No, what did he get? Like, I don't know what he got.
Right, because we're all sitting here like we could see the die. It rolls, and we all go, whoa! And it's
Was
like,
that good or bad?
Was that horrible? Bad? I can't tell. I don't know these people.
It was a 12.
We just got super stoked over 12.
And I don't mind playing on the VTT. It just depends. And that's the benefit of an AP, because then the maps are pre-made and everything like that.
Yeah.
But then it's an AP, and I don't want to do one of those. So then it's like, how much work am I making Derik do? Because Derik will be the GM for this. And it's like, how much work?
Let me be clear about
that's a lot of work.
I do a lot less work for our Abomination Vaults campaign than I did for any of the Foundry games.
Now, is that...
There's no map setup. There's no
I would say I do...
Yeah, but if we were doing VTT, you would have to have a map set up.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay?
I would say I do 20 times less work to play.
So that's why you
Abomination
enjoy
Vaults
it maybe
in
more.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't need anything.
Yeah.
I don't need anything. I don't
That's a
need to
good
do any.
point.
I don't need to do any prep work at all. In fact, I don't. I take some wet erase tiles, right, which have a grid on them, and then the group explorers or whatever like that. And if we need something to have a combat encounter, I take a couple minutes. I quickly sketch it out roughly with the walls, maybe put in a few little visual interest pieces, and then we set up minis and we go for it.
We should play BZB's Indigo Isle, and then like if it's bad, like rip it apart.
If Steven wants to sponsor us.
Look, Steven's going to be in Columbus.
I know. I just actually was on a stream earlier, and they confirmed that he is going to be there this week. So I knew that we thought we knew, but I was just double checking.
Yeah.
But he's supposed to be there, so maybe I'll just hint at him. I mean, I already like BZB stuff, so it's kind of cool.
Right.
The idea of Derik being a pirate Perry is kind of
No,
hilarious.
that's
Aquaman
actually isn't. I was like, no, isn't there a new thing? But
There is
that's
a new thing.
But that the Indigo Isle, this is the pirate parrot.
Yeah,
so that's from
this
that.
is the pirate parrot.
Yeah,
This is definitely the
Yeah, I think realistically, if we were to do PF2 the studio, it would have to be the way we're doing it at home, which means we get the camera and make it work over top.
I don't
because no,
You don't think we could do laptop here? Because that would be the only way I could think of it.
No, it's Derek's time. If Derik has to prep for that, 6 sessions and at best, he's
Then we
gonna
have to
go,
have a
this
producer.
fucking
We have to have a
sucks."
producer to get. Oh, because I need a dice cam or something for everybody.
Yeah, I
like,
agree
we need
that-
like a big long dice pool that we can all throw into or something.
I mean,
A singular dice pool. that
It's an
fits
interesting
some-
idea. I think not to make this a nightlife topic, but like, there's a part of me that like, and this might be very opposite from you. Like, the less work I have prepped into a game, the more I enjoy it.
Why do you,
No,
why
I've
do you
definitely shifted over the years.
Why do you think that? Because you've been doing low prep.
I do
but you
a lot of
still
low
write
prep.
a lot.
I used to write a lot.
But
But now
what-
I build tools, and the more I can use my tools, the happier I feel.
So do you think it's just because you're less stressed?
No, I think it's because,
Not burnt out?
well, obviously, I don't like doing work. So
Yes.
if I could like,
We could use really, really big dice. I have big D20s.
I do got big 20s. Just chuck it. Just boom.
I mean, I have the big ones, but they don't do a good job with like highlighting the color better, in my opinion. So
but
I have big D6s. We can do
like
casino dice.
So obviously, I like when I can come into a session fresh and like I'll be like, yeah, I didn't have to spend 5 hours or 6 hours or whatever drawing maps and preparing stuff. Like that's great, that's fun. But the other thing about it is, I'm aware of my own internal bias. Right? If I prep something, then I want to use it.
Right, because you prepped it. You
Because
spent
I
the
prepped
time.
it. And especially like on a stream, because outside of my own personal, I built this, I want to use it. Like when I'm on a stream, it's like, hey, I got to think about production quality.
Yeah.
I got to think about, do I have the right tokens and minis, or am I going to be live streaming a production show that
Right.
people pay for and showing?
Bob and I are like
and
hanging
having-
out in Absalom Tavern, like, let's just go shopping today for
Right.
the session.
And then
we were even using like the wrong minis.
and
we don't care.
And
but
then
people at home care.
I pull in a the generic Foundry monster art. Like.
Oh, the cloak guy?
Yeah, the little cloak monster guy. Like, I know some people go, we don't care. Well, I kind of do.
Right.
Right. And so I think.
Obviously.
Yeah, right. Yeah. If you can't see that we care about the details, fuck you. But yeah, like
a few people mentioned like you could have a green screen where you roll dice on the green and then that is sort of gone and the dice then overlay
Yep.
the screen. But then the next comment was pretty interesting. He said he was part of a stream a few months ago that tried something not like that, but he just had a hard time focusing on the dice, which I could totally see. I could totally see if they're having an issue with like the dice are rolling and it's trying to figure out like the focus. We have to do a manual.
Oh, no. Well,
manual
to be
focus
clear,
on that.
the advantage of having somebody who is
Yeah.
a professional photographer is the key to using a dice cam is to use manual focus, as Bob just said. So
I learned that from Derik.
that's very good, Bob. That's actually very good.
So I got a question for you, Bob.
I like, by the way, appropriate metaphor. So we call the default Foundry dude the angry man, which I like. All right.
What does that mean? The default.
Because he
font?
looks
You know
kinda
the
angry.
default monster art.
Oh, the little shadow
Yeah,
guy. Okay,
the little angry man.
Yeah.
I like it.
I was confused with what that meant at first. So,
But anyways,
what's up,
so
Mr.
to put it out,
Oh, okay.
I think that when I don't prep, I feel like, man, anything could happen tonight.
Right.
And
when you do prep, only this can happen.
and we can just do whatever we want to do, and I'm not going to feel one way about it or the other. I'm totally off. Like I'm here to find out what happens, just like the rest of you, And
Yeah, I don't know how we show that production quality to everyone else. Because it's easy with Root because we're playing Theater of the Mind. But when we have maps and minis,
well, right, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
Pathfinder relies not just on maps and minis, but also on like
counters.
balance. And
Well,
like the
but
game has to work.
You
to a
play
certain degree.
AV now with basically no prep.
I feel like
Correct.
you could whip up a counter.
I typically I read through the dungeon once.
Right.
And then usually, I keep it by my bedside. Sometimes I might just glance at a couple of encounters, or whatever like that, just to kind of
I go to the bathroom.
just kind of generally
Yeah.
be aware of what's
Yeah.
going on. But I don't really care too
You're not really
much.
prepping.
Yeah, I'm not really prepping.
Yeah, so I think that's fine. That's a solid issue. It's just the logistics of the stream.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask, like, Bob, you're like, you're really hard up on this dice, but like,
Love the dice.
when we were playing for your birthday bash,
Yes.
like,
I
mean,
watched your guys' dice rolls too.
Yeah, but you couldn't see them. Like, I'm
Yes,
rolling
I could.
D6 over here. What?
I was watching every dice roll you made.
Well, if you could see them, then what's the issue?
The issue's not for me; it's for the camera.
I see.
So if I'm watching your dice roll, I mean I'm watching it. But if they can't watch it, then what? Like if I'm the person at home, I want to see the dice roll too. And the people, I mean, even said this when they listen to the audio version. Like, what did they roll? What did they roll? So it's like, are we saying it out loud? Are we? How is this working? And it's like, is it? I don't know. We tried the dice cam. It just took up a lot of screen real estate. But like, if it's a big pool, maybe that can work. I don't know. Like, again, I like PF2. If we can figure something out, I'd be really down to.
I bet you there's dice that when you roll them, like, have some sort of like Bluetooth hook.
No, they do
that
have those.
record it.
Yeah,
They
there's
have
some
those.
Kickstarter but it's like,
They have them.
do we really need that to?
Well, it's
like,
that or a camera and green screen,
well,
apparently.
the cameras I have, I mean, that is cameras I have.
The dice are still dice.
But I just think also, I think, I mean, for me personally, I think I GM better when I'm on the spot. I think I GM better when
I think you do too. When I watched the Bob's birthday stream, like you were like, that like, what's gonna happen next? Like I felt like you just rolled
like
anything.
I mean I hate to say this, but it's like I feel confident enough after jamming for so many years that what I can pull out of my ass in the moment is better than what somebody else spent maybe hours and hours and hours writing in some module or some adventure and like trying to craft. I'm like, I think I could do better just pulling it out of my ass. Not because like, oh, I'm that good, but because it's going to be exactly appropriate.
You're making it for your group.
I'm making it custom tailored for the group at the time.
go,
It's like every one of my sessions when I'm like pulling it out of my ass, it's like it's a bespoke, it's a bespoke experience. It's custom tailored for you.
Sean's reaching his inner Smith here. He'd rather see a small 4E adventure than another PF2 adventure.
Well, the same problem.
I mean, 4E does have the exact same problem. In fact,
Actually,
in some ways,
4E's a better tactical game.
4E might be worse than Pathfinder 2nd Edition. In that
No, seriously, because the grid is so important. Because you have so many more things like auras and like adjacent like PF2. It's like, all right, flanking and like a fireball.
Like
right?
if you really needed to, I mean, hell, Jason Morningstar. Wrong independent game designer.
Right.
Jason Bullman played his Knights of Everflame.
Yeah, that was all theater of the mind.
All theater of the mind.
I think we could play it that way. There's just assumption that the stat whores and the audience would be like, well, that's not Pathfinder. I want to see numbers.
I mean, again, I guess if we had a really nice camera focusing on the map and we rolled on the map,
Look,
it could work.
It totally could work. We did
it.
I mean, that's how we did Rise of the Rune Lords.
People loved it.
20 episodes, and people just didn't see shit.
But people liked it. They enjoyed us.
There were parts of it that were great. I'm not gonna lie.
But
and to be fair, some of the problem is me. What I mean to say is like I'm sitting on I don't even know how much. $5,000 of Dwarven Forge.
Yeah, we could use some of that cool stuff.
And we have
not to mention all the stuff I have at home too.
a million minis.
Oh yeah.
Right?
And I got
and
a ton
so
of
part
terrain
of me
too.
is like,
Derek found a crate of minis I just didn't unpack because I'm so lazy, which is what Derek's point is getting to.
Smith's gradually fading more into the blackness as he just starts.
He told you to lean forward.
As he just starts leaning.
You guys are doing most of the talking.
He leads into the darkness, depth of the darkness.
I'm here for moral support.
Well, I was actually wondering, since you've actually GM'd now in Northern Reaches in Foundry, are the reason you're switching over to Foundry instead of Roll20 is because of that, or have you played VTT on Foundry before? Like, is this something you've been trying to do for a while, or is this something like now you play Northern Reaches, like it's so much better on Foundry?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it is, but
I mean, you ran a campaign, 5e, entirely on Roll20.
Yeah.
Like, did you think it was more work?
100%.
Yeah.
It was so much more work. That's why we went from a plan of 20 or so dungeon levels to 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And even the fact that they were like mega levels, it was easier for me
they were
to
real
build,
big levels.
But I could just work out all the templates. But I mean, you hated this one, but on level 2 with the labyrinth.
Yeah.
Just the labyrinth was a weekend. That was like Saturday and Sunday.
Wow.
To be clear, Smith made like a 100 square by 100 square maze, like like what you would do with a pencil.
Of course he did.
But by the way, like that's the one rule in GM. Like if you're going to do anything as a game master, it's never make a maze.
Right. But also,
I like to break.
But also in this maze were like mimics, and so like sometimes walls and doors weren't walls and doors; they were mimics. It was very much a pain in the ass. But yeah, so I think that like.
That's interesting. So Whipple did say that his first experience was in Northern Reaches, and so now he's trying to get his party to switch over to Foundry.
I had a lot of trouble even in that campaign with Roll20.
Oh, crashing and stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, the maps were so big, and later on we had animations. They literally wouldn't load.
You know what I say though? Those Dungeon Alchemist maps are so good.
Well, no.
People have been using them now.
Those are great, yeah.
Northern Reaches, and I'm like,
which are the animated ones?
the ones that have that perspective 3D to them too.
Yeah.
Like they're putting these things in Northern Reaches, and they're doing the site reviews. And
DA
I'm
is
like,
amazing.
I'm like, these are incredible maps.
Yeah.
Like they're so detailed.
Yeah.
Well, all right. I just part of it is
He must play Theater of the Mind.
no, yeah. Part of it is I'm like, now it's a fucking video game. Like people are more concerned about the aesthetic
I wouldn't say I'm
of their
concerned, but
dungeon
it's
map
real nice.
than what is actually happening in the campaign.
It's nice.
And I don't like that.
To quote you, because
nice.
you were yelling at us about can't have them both ways. Yeah. Like you were the guy that was bitching about the hallway with the boss fight at the end.
Yeah, but that's because that's the worst of both worlds. Because it's
There's no aesthetics, but it was still a video game.
yeah, there was no aesthetics and it was a video game. Fuck you. Like if you're just gonna do
See, Sean's with you. Just a paper and pencil type thing.
yeah.
This is Derek's using dry erase tactiles, and we get these things whipped out like real quick. It does work nice.
Yeah, again, it's just it gives me a lot of flexibility, and I don't have to worry about stuff. And then like I don't know, I understand it's a me issue, but like nothing drives me more crazy, like insane crazy, like when I'm playing Foundry or whatever like that, and then some fucking even if it only takes like 30 seconds, like someone's like, I can't find my race shield macro. I'm like, like I just want to. I'm like,
I feel like you're like
This is about you, Bob.
Player. It's gotta be me or Nick.
know,
it's either me or Nick. He's not always angry at.
or somebody being like, they'll roll, and it'll say in the chat, 28 is their total for their roll, and they're like, wait, nope, hold a sec, I gotta add a +1 circumstance bonus to that because of the thing. Yeah, okay, that's 30. We can do them. It says 29, or it says 28. It's 29. We could do that. We don't need you to like make it work,
I think that's just a thing of people that play VTT.
Yeah, it was just annoying. I fucking hate it. Be better. I don't know what to say.
I'm kind of with Derek on this one. To be honest.
I mean, I get that part's annoying, but I think the VTT and the Dungeon Alchemist maps are so nice.
Yeah,
I love playing on them. I love them. I like it.
So the reason I like DA is because it doesn't take me 2 days now to build a fucking map.
Fair.
I put on the AI generator. I go, bleh. I draw out the rooms I want.
That's the class. That's the very tactical.
Yes, that's a pro GM move right there. Bleh. And if the AI does something stupid, I might go regenerate. I don't even like replace it. I just go regenerate.
I would even go a step further and say that I would rather have, because here's your cool, pretty map, but you know what it still is? It's just a 30 by 50 room.
100%.
Like I would much rather have a D&D 4E style map where it's like drawn on a dry erase board, with marker, and it's like, here's a field of blocking terrain.
It takes so much time. Think through it, plan and count, build something that's entertaining.
That's right. You got to do.
No one's
the
got
work.
time for that.
Right. No one's got time for that. So we're gonna play these tactical games, but we're just gonna fucking throw together these rooms which have no tactical depth to them at all, but they look pretty.
Well, at the end, you go and fight the boss because it's about the fight, and then you get the broken loot. That's it.
I
Know your audience, Derek.
I like it. I think it's. I mean, I'm trying to think of what helps me remember the fight like more.
Oh, Wolfenstein has a great one for me, which is like I couldn't find the buff, but it's like when like someone like casts bless and puts it in the chat, and then someone's like dragging on themselves. Like, no, you didn't. You drag bless onto yourself. You need to drag the effect bless onto your character, not bless. You need to drag effect bless.
This is bringing back PTSD from Quest.
See, I like all that stuff. I like the
because you want to play a video game.
I like video games too, and you hate video games. So this is a
so explain. How does that explain you?
Yeah, you're like in the middle.
You love video games, and you also don't like this though.
Well, I love both, and I like good video games. Like I like super immersive video games. Right? Foundry is not really immersive for me. It's just kind of annoying and slow.
Yeah, I also find that I personally think that Foundry kills immersion.
Yeah, I've always been really weird, right? I'm super analog. I've always been analog with my RPGs. I mean, even like today, we live in this world of modern technology. I mean, look, I play Pathfinder 2. I don't have a laptop for Aeon Open.
Right now, that doesn't mean he doesn't have any fucking toys. If you saw, if
I got toys. Yeah,
Smith's he's got all of the spell cards laid out in front of him.
Oh, yeah.
He's got little gems to represent his focus points. He's got a different set of gems to represent his resonance points. He's got poker chips to represent his.
Actually, you took a picture and put it on Foundry, and then people were asking, "What's all those things? This represents this. This represents that."
And it speeds up play for me, right? Because I can just fly through my turn, and
See, I just have my laptop open just so I can look up.
Right, so Bob has his laptop open, still doesn't fucking know what's going on.
No, that is not true.
Still takes forever because every there's like,
true.
what does that do? Bob's like, I don't know.
The same amount of time that it takes you to look up your card.
No, it's not.
Oh yeah,
It's not. It's not.
We were looking up what your dang ritual did the other day. I could look it up on my dang laptop just as fast.
If someone needs to look up a ritual, I will give them. I will give them.
I'm not doing that mid combat. Every round.
Yeah, I was just
what's rage? Raggy? Is that how you say it?
I mean, yeah. If you don't spell it right, we're in trouble. So I was just that's all I'm using it for.
My favorite is when Bob misremembers, like where something will happen, and he'll be like, Bob, I'll be like, Bob, make a save versus this thing, this poison. And you're like, oh, poison. Oh,
This is a disease.
you're like, I have a feat that when I make a save versus poison, a success is treated as a critical success. And I go, really? He goes, yeah. Let me look it up. Oh no, this is just a +1 bonus to disease.
Right. Right.
It's not even close to the same thing.
I was like, we were in the ballpark.
I have advantage against this. Advantage.
Right.
It's Pathfinder, Bob.
I took it from a 5e book. But yeah, so I guess, I find that for me personally, I think BTTs make the role-playing aspects of the game go to the shitter.
All right, so
that too.
If we were playing Pathfinder 2 and we used something to visualize the map, what would you at home want to see? Would you guys be okay with a tactile erase? Are we using Dwarven Forge and tactile minis? Yeah. Like, what do you at home want to see? Because ultimately, if we're going to replace something tactile, that's the only way we're going to do it here in the studio, like with that kind of setup. Other than that, Theater of the Mind's like so much better.
Well, it's faster, it's quicker, and whatever. I mean,
it's more engagement.
I had so much fun in that stream for my birthday. I was into that story.
You've talked about this a million times. We have played several games that really were very light on the battle grid, or didn't even.
L5R doesn't use one.
Legend of the Five Rings,
DTX.
We haven't even got a single combat yet.
Dungeon Time Extreme.
That one was fun because I love mapping.
Right. Now mapping.
You love
the combat in DTX
the
too,
dungeon.
So much fun. The combat, the way it flowed with you, with the way Derik made it flow was very immersive.
I think the audience would have fun with a DTX type.
DTX would be pretty fun.
We played Dungeon Time Extreme, which was a 5e dungeon crawler.
Yep.
Homebrew, and then we played Rapanathuk, which was Pathfinder First Edition. Mm-hmm. And all of those didn't really use Theater of Mind. Or I'm sorry, all those didn't really use battle grids. They used Theater of Mind. And you have said time and time again, those are the battles, those are the scenes,
so could we do
those are the encounters.
Could you do PF2? Because that's what PF1 was, or Panathuk. DTX is just 5e.
I think Pathfinder Second Edition is a little bit more reliant upon the grid. To me, it's like Fourth Edition.
I think Fourth Edition is its whole animal.
I mean, could you just say you're within 30 feet?
Fourth Edition.
That's really what PF2 wants to know.
Oh, it's been a while. Satir asks, also, when Battle Cry?
August 22nd.
August 2022.
Well, we are going to be busy this upcoming
Oh, I gotta be
week.
careful saying that because August is actually coming up now.
I do have October stuff in this Battle Cry book, which is coming up.
That's true. We'll just re-release it for our Halloween and be on time.
Yeah, the truth. Oh, yeah, at this point, yeah. The truth of the matter is, Satir, is Northern Reaches ended up taking a lot more time to launch than we originally anticipated.
Which, if you've read Smith's book,
yeah,
you'll
like
know.
books.
Yeah, there's books.
Several books with another book's worth of stuff probably coming out.
Coming soon.
Oh yeah.
So
TM, soon TM.
Waiting for Derik at this point.
What was originally promised to me was like, it'll be a short, small update for season 2.
I never said that.
I
That is
thought
a lie.
I heard that at some point.
That is definitely a lie. I definitely said I am rewriting everything. It's going to take me a minute.
So, anyways, point is that kind of ate up all of like the sort of PDF crunching credits, and then the other thing about it is this guy still needs to figure out how to fix recall knowledge so that it isn't busted and broken, but also becomes interesting.
If I happen to finish all of my work with Northern Reaches at this point, I will write a recall knowledge system and just release that. No, I'm just going to do it. I won't even tell you. It's just going to go out, and people will be like, "Wow, this is great."
Derik is he's so
Wow,
good.
Derik, this is a great recall knowledge system. It works, and it was 2 pages.
It's weird because it says "get fucked" in there.
Yeah,
way too many times.
Right, a lot of get fucks. So I think that what it really comes down to is, for me, I like the games where.
I mean, if we could do PF2 Theater of Mind, I'd be down because I like PF2 and I like Theater of the Mind. I just don't know how you do it.
Again, Jason,
but I like my minis too.
Jason does it. He wrote the damn game.
I mean, look. Here's the thing. I like toys too.
I got lots of toys.
Okay.
Also, there's not that much tactics in Pathfinder. Like, come on.
I go in the flank. Is he 30 feet away? Can I get to the flank?
Cyber logged off for a night. All right, let's call it what it is.
Well,
we're talking about fucking flanking.
I mean, to be clear,
All you know is 30 feet.
No,
Are you
we're
within
not.
30 feet or not?
We're not.
Well, if you're not, then it's not an approved pay-as-you-go encounter.
Well, we're not.
Because the room is only 20 feet.
Well, we're not because, like, for example, an elf has 30 foot, a human has 25 feet. You might have fleet, you might not have fleet. You might have long strider. You might not have long
Ancestry,
strider.
general feats, and skill feats don't matter. Everyone knows this.
So narrow, yeah. All you gotta do is sum those all up and say everyone's got 30 feet. There's all of the spells are
Right.
30 feet or 15 feet, or there's 500 feet, which makes no sense.
listen-
No, better just be like,
now-
Derek's like, oh, you're just out of range. Derek, I got fleet. Does it work? Yeah, you get there.
I mean, if somebody wanted to, if we wanted to rewrite Pathfinder to make the ranges like close, nearby, far away, that'd be something different. But
we could do that.
you need to do something very different.
You could just
because,
do it through your feet.
But also too, there's like, I mean, not that these things are, really useful or taken anyways, but something like shove 5 feet really just doesn't mean shit.
Oh, that means nothing. You're right, actually.
well, if you got like a 13th age engagement style, it would break engagement.
Yeah. But then you're not.
Also, who the fuck shoves?
But that's my point.
oh, I got a club. Oh, that was a mistake.
Only time I ever shoved in Rise of the Rulers was I shoved the guy into a sawmill.
That's
right.
It was super sweet.
The only time anybody ever shoves is when there's a sawmill.
No, here's the problem. If we take
Grinder.
PF2 to Theater of Mind, we're going to go, well, what are we even fucking doing? And then we're just going to go back to PBTA.
Ding, ding, ding. I wish I had a sound bar
Yeah.
here. Ding, ding, ding,
Because
ding, ding.
we're going to want to shove a dude into a sawmill. And if we're playing PBTA, Derek's like, all right, roll 7+. All right, you
sawmill's
throw him
10
in the
feet.
sawmill and maybe something bad happens. But you succeed. It's awesome. He's totally dead. It's brutal and visceral. Pathfinder 2, Derek's like, well, do you have the push dude into sawmill feat?
Yeah.
No?
Do you have
Well,
free
that's
hand?
a dedication.
Right.
You need to take that first, okay?
Right. It's like no. I use.
Sawmill's 10
You're like
feet.
no. I use my staff. Okay, well, does your staff have the shove trait?
Ooh. Doesn't look like it.
No,
Is your
it
hand
doesn't.
free?
Yeah.
Yes, but the sawmill's 10 feet away.
You'll have to crit.
Yeah.
Okay, but good news, he's higher level than you, which means you'll never
Right.
crit.
Also, I'm going to roll that sawmills are in cap. So he's immune to
High level
being chopped
characters
in half.
just avoid getting chopped up. Emperor says, don't forget about level appropriate sawmill.
Yeah, exactly. You throw him in there. Finally, you took the archetype.
Right.
Push dude in the sawmill. Right.
And the GM's like, add +2 circumstance bonus to damage. That's a big bonus.
Yeah, that's up.
That's huge. Do you realize that you have to be that you have to have a +3 weapon? That means you have to be like 16th level before a dagger does +2 circumstance bonus to damage. I'm just giving you +2 circumstance bonus to damage.
That's actually kind of broken.
That's actually kind of broken because if you crit, it'd be 4.
Also, realistically, sawmills, don't kill that many people. So
Right.
this
I
kind
know.
of breaking the circulation of the game.
I could think, if you look and you go on Wikipedia right now, you'll see that there are many instances of people who
You guys
have
are ruining
been
this for
involved
me.
in industrial accidents and have survived the encounter.
Our our entire like audience about to log
Like-
off. Fuck these guys.
God, they hate PF2.
No, we don't. We're playing it. We just spent the first half of this talking
Yeah.
about how much we're having fun doing it. But I digress. But even I mean, to Smith's point though, those.
I guess if you're not playing tactile minis, then why are you even doing it?
I mean, to be clear, I also think people go a little bit too far. I think maybe even fourth edition at times could be a little bit too far in this, which is it's not Warhammer. It shouldn't be Warhammer, right? It should be something else. So I also don't want my RPGs to be too. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't want my RPGs to be too tactical, because that's not what the game is also really about,
Yeah, I guess it depends on the game what you want, right? 4E very clearly is trying to be like, this is our game. If you're in combat, it's going to be exciting. You're going to have game mechanics. You're going to make choices based around powers, and you're going to do stuff. And if that's not your cup of tea, you should not play that game.
Right. I guess I don't know. It's just like even the combats have never really been because you might say, oh, because you like the role play, you liked the intensity, you like the narrative, the character arcs, the develop. Yeah, I like those things. Mm-hmm. But I also really like the exploration, and especially like the classic D&D.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Right. Combat has always been pretty low on my list. I actually don't really enjoy, combat.
I think I kind of like all of it. To be no, I mean combat's exciting.
A true fan.
No, I really I love all of it, right? Like, do I want endless combat? No, and that's actually why sometimes I get frustrated with how people perceive PF2 and how people play PF2,
Mm-hmm.
where they're just like, oh, it's just about tactical mini combat.
Chaining combat's one
Yeah,
after
I'm
another.
like,
yeah.
well,
yeah.
that kind of sucks because it's not really a good game for that, right? If I'm going to do that,
I don't even know if there is a good game for that.
Well,
Dynasty Warriors?
Warhammer,
Yeah, I
like-
guess that's true.
Yeah, like games that are like, this is what this game is.
Right, the game that literally only has rules for being in the skirmish.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I could maybe do that like with BattleTech, right? Because
Sure.
like, well, what am I here to do, right?
Yeah.
Gear porn and damage porn and
Right.
combat encounters, right? But like, I love all the other aspects of it, right? I mean, when I remember reading BF2, I got excited about things like exploration mode, downtime mode, right? Because I'm like, like combat helps me have fun in these areas,
Right.
Right? Because combat's usually like the resolution method, right? Ever since third edition, it's become fairly standard that if you want something, you're going to have to kill someone for it.
Yeah. Right.
Which I don't actually always like. I mean, I love a good drop-down fight, but like when that's the only option, it does get kind of boring. It feels very like, what are we even doing here, right? Where violence isn't the last resort, it's the only option. It's like, that's just, in my opinion, unrealistic and dumb and kind of like hand-waving the fact that's like, we're like coming in here and brutally stabbing people in the face,
Yeah, exactly.
And this is coming from a guy who loves like fantasy,
Right.
which is about stabbing people in the face.
Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Gabby in the chat who says, can you please tell the man in pink shirt to come back to Barocco? He was my favorite customer and I miss him. Gabby, nice to see you. I randomly went to Barocco one day to get and had this great chat with these ladies who were really into board games, and we all went to the same school. And
Oh, wow.
it's pretty crazy. So,
Wow.
anyways, obviously was a subscriber. Hello, Gabby. Welcome
Awesome.
back, Bob. How was the bathroom?
Much needed.
So
As I was leaving, I heard Warhammer. I was like, dang it. I could have been on that conversation.
It's over now. Ha ha. Too late.
I have so many minis coming.
what we were talking about was just like combat and how I was saying I don't really think I really enjoy. Like, I'll give you a great example. We're playing Legend of the Five Rings,
Right.
And I think you would say that from our experience playing it so far, which is, to be fair, we've only probably played it 7 or 8 times.
Yeah.
Combat is your least favorite part of the game.
Oh yeah, skirmish mode, 100%. I like duels, but skirmish, I do not.
Right.
Yeah. I'll play it. It's not like fuck this, I'm out. But like, I'm like, oh, skirmish, okay, great. Come on.
Whereas, again, I'm, a member of the Discord. I know that there's a lot of people who play Legend of the Five Rings and approach it the way that people approach Pathfinder 2. Oh, I got this 6 samurai build. I took this technique. So then what I'll have to do.
My guy's literally designed not for combat.
Like no, but you could be.
I could be.
with your with maybe not
engine.
maybe not with like attacking, but you could be
with
with
spells.
summoning fire spirits and burning people from the
I've
inside
literally
out.
not even thought about that. I've only been thinking about like, where do my spirits go? These things that are haunting me.
Right.
How can I
So,
interrupt?
Okay,
things?
so let's think about that. Why is it now? To be clear, Legend of the Five Rings, I think you would agree, actually has a pretty deep combat system.
Oh yeah.
In fact, it's way deeper than I think a lot of people give it credit for. I mean, not only do you have, it's initiative, there's turn-based systems, but you have a very large list of techniques, which are sort of like feats that do different powers. And you have
plug in the opportunities, which
when you plug in the whole opportunity system, and then you have weapons can have traits, and then when you get hit, there's a critical hit table, and you have to make defense rolls. It's a very intricate combat system. So I'm not saying it's. In fact, in many ways, the combat system in Legend of the Five Rings might be more complex than the combat system in Pathfinder 2nd Edition.
I completely think so.
Why do we view Pathfinder 2nd Edition with this like combative focus, and we enjoy the combats in Pathfinder 2? Not saying we would want to play fight,
sure.
but we like, we like getting into a fight with two Driders.
That was
fun.
Why do we feel differently about that with something like Legend of the Five Rings?
Because the monsters have more depth.
Well, no, I mean, I just personally don't like L5R skirmish system.
But what don't you like about it?
It feels a little clunky, and like when I'm playing everything else in L5R, it kind of flows together. But when we like go into skirmish mode, it feels like JRPG battle loading, and all of a sudden my character feels like Sprite.
I mean, are you really saying initiative?
Yeah. Like when we go into like,
so you won't like conflicts, period.
I don't know because we haven't actually done an intrigue yet.
I need to get one before I can weigh in an opinion on this.
Yeah,
right. Because I mean, obviously, look, you're preaching to the choir here. You know that one of the reasons I love Powered by the Apocalypse games is I fucking hate initiative order.
No, the sad truth is like the way we've played L5R is basically like a clunky PBTA.
Sure.
And the parts that I enjoy about L5R is the PBTA part, right? Like if you got rid of like like reputation and depletion and replace it with like honor and glory,
sure.
I mean, we could just be playing PBTA.
Absolutely,
I'd be having a blast.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if Root has a prestige track, you would just use the prestige track systems for tracking your honor, your glory, your status. It'd be. I mean, obviously, we've joked around about making a Legend of the Five,
Legend of the Five Roots,
Legend of the Five Roots.
Oh, that's funny.
But I agree with you to a certain extent there.
Yeah, I love the lore. I love so the
mechanics,
tension. The mechanics. What the mechanics are doing, I love that tension. But you don't have to do it the way L5R is doing it. Right? Like, what do I love? I love that, like, my role-playing decisions have a mechanical impact.
Yeah.
Well, that's PBTA as well. Right.
Yes.
So, arguably a little bit, smoother, right? But, yeah, in terms of, like, the combat, the skirmish stuff, no, I'm not a huge fan because it takes me out of my character's mindset, which, when you're playing L5R for me, is a huge thing. You're it's kind of like why you, like, in our first game, got kind of, like, anxious and like had to take a break.
I also picked a terrible anathema, I guess.
well, sure, but I'm just saying, like you have to get in your character's mindset.
Yes.
When we're sitting down playing L5R, this is not me sitting down and be like, how many fireballs am I going to troll Derik with?
I mean, I was feeling it last session when me and you were kind of getting this argument, like about I wanted the better bedroom, and you were kind of like
samurai drama.
Yeah, you're like you were basically like, no, you should be. I'm more honorable. Like you need
to be fair, I didn't address you at all.
Respectful,
because I didn't want to shame you.
Correct.
Because you were acting like a douchebag.
But like, and I'm thinking in my head, like, man, my guy is kind of pissed right now. And I'm like, oh, I'm really getting I'm feeling the character. And you're like, would you take an honor hit? I'm like, then I got in this argument with you, kind of like, well, I don't think that was dishonorable to myself.
Right.
So, but like, I don't need to get that in PF2. I'm not arguing about my character's feelings and how he's feeling.
if we put social mechanics and resources like whatever into Pathfinder 2nd Edition, would you enjoy the combat less?
Well, it depends how much I got into it, potentially.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the issue is I need to get so into my character that when we get into initiative and combat, which is so abstract, it has to force me out. And I'm like, okay, well, what am I doing here?
Yeah, I think that...
Does that make sense?
That's interesting. No,
it is
right,
interesting. I think that's an important thing. I think that's an interesting thing because I think...
and
I think a lot of people view, initiative, conflict as being like a zoom in moment, right? Like where you're like, now I'm paying attention. And it's interesting to hear you say
you're pulling back.
That you're like, like this checks me out.
It does. Because now it's no longer about like what my character is thinking and feeling and doing. It's more about like the tacticals aspect of the game.
I mean, to be clear,
it's the player part.
The thinking and feeling and doing probably don't matter as much when you're fighting for your life.
Correct.
You're not really thinking about like.
But I'm not fighting for my life, so I don't feel.
Yeah, you're in fight or
but you're
flight.
also not concerned about whether or not the honor of the lion is going to be concerned.
I am when I'm playing my lion character.
Well, then-
that's the fun part.
But
I'm in my character's mindset.
Right.
Now I will say something because again, no conversation is complete without talking about how great 4E is. One of the reasons I like 4E is because I feel like I got to do both. Right, I'm playing my leader character. I'm playing William Brandis, leader of men, and then the powers I have make me feel like I'm leading men into battle. And I really appreciated the aesthetics of those powers. So I felt like I got to be my character outside of combat when I'm like socializing and using skills and role playing. And then combat starts, it wasn't nearly that harsh break because I went into these super thematic powers where like I'm using things like battle cry and like we're charging in and like I'm giving people move actions, I'm giving people extra attacks, I'm like inspiring to get back up. Things that I would be doing from a role playing standpoint, I can do mechanically.
Right.
That was like just a really smooth balance they managed to pull off.
I mean, look, I've talked a lot on this channel before about how yes, I love it when mechanics both achieve the game goal, but also achieve the sort of the flavor win or the narrative win. We think about Magic cards. I talk about Magic design a lot. Like, for example, there's a new Lord of the Rings Magic set out, and there's a Gandalf character, okay? And when Gandalf comes in, there's a mechanic called the Ring Tempts You, and when that happens, you have to choose one of your characters to be the ring bearer. And Gandalf has a mechanic where it's like, when he comes into play, the ring tempts you, but if you put the ring on a different character that isn't Gandalf, you get to draw a card. Right, because like the game is rewarding you, encouraging you, to not have Gandalf have the ring, because that would be a flavor fail, for Gandalf to have the ring. That doesn't even make sense. You should give it to another character, right? And then the game says, "Yeah, we'll bribe you with a card," right? And so what ends up happening is the mechanics support the fiction, right? And so like we were talking about William Brandis, it's like I feel like a leader of men. I think Bob, you would agree that there are times when you're playing a barbarian. And you're like, I don't feel the way. This is one of the reasons why we always complain about the fact that the fighter.
I want to be the most powerful. If I'm the barbarian, I'm better be hitting for the most damage.
Hold up.
Oh boy.
Big boy Donnie.
Oh, anything for my boy Vlax.
$100 tip.
Just a little north of you.
I don't know her.
Well,
cheers to you, Fred.
Cheers to you, Donnie. Cheers to you, Donnie. Thank you so much, Donnie. Hope you can appreciate some of the subtle changes that we're working on here in the studio because we are trying to get it back here today.
Donnie has been here.
Yeah. Step one was fixing the light on the talent. Make sure Bob wasn't falling away into shadow, that I wasn't overexposed.
That I'm not blind.
That Aaron's not blinded. So we had to change up the lights. Thank you, patrons, for these $800 worth of new lights. And then
Derik literally buys lights every week now.
Every
week. I just bought $1,000 of new lights.
This is, and you know what? You might, there's someone be like, is there some sort of money embezzling coming on? Check it out. Every time you come in here, there's more lights.
There's new lights. I'm not exaggerating when I say that.
There was lights in my station that I had to know what was going on.
And so, but then the next thing we're going to be doing is working on these backdrops to get them kind of really popped up. But thank you, Donnie, so much. Thank you. Appreciate it so much. And I'm sure Vlax appreciates it as well. So thank you so much.
And Boothby tagged in just for the PF2 hate.
Oh, you missed
To be fair, it's more like L5R hate. But.
You got to watch the first hour and a half. It's just PF2, just fantastic. Yeah, nothing on the columns yet. Just,
waiting for them torches.
Yeah, we're gonna get those torches on those bad boys
too,
and it's gonna look really sweet. And I'm really looking forward to getting those torches on there. It's gonna be sweet. A little bit more arts and crafty. Once I get some free time. Sometime.
I mean, we are busy this weekend coming up.
We are going to Origins.
You guys don't know this. Origins is coming up, and the Knights will be in Columbus. The Knights of Columbus will be in Columbus. It's sort of like it's more like a board gaming convention, really, isn't it?
It's a board gaming, role playing game convention.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say
it's not Gen Con, guys.
No, it's not Gen Con.
Super small.
And again, it has the pros and cons. It's smaller, a little bit more intimate, but also, you know, Gen Con is like where all the big names are, and where all the big releases. You're not going to get that here at Origins. But really, honestly, what I'm really hoping for.
Oh, look, Steven! There he is.
Oh,
He'll be there.
Crashing everything Knights related. Well,
Steven, bring your plushie, Steven.
Bring the plushies.
What can we play with Steven while we're there? We're going to put him through. Hasn't he like never played PBTA?
I don't think he's ever played PBTA.
I feel like we got to do PBTA with him, or something really obsure.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with Brutus. You know, Gen Con. The last time
Monster
I went to Gen
Hearts.
Con, to be fair, was
Monster
pre-COVID.
Hearts. That'd be new for me,
it
too.
It was 2019. I should totally bring Monster Hearts.
I mean, I'd play it if Steven was there.
Oh, that's like the most evil DM laugh. I'll be like, all right, Steven, you're a 15-year-old vampire girl who has a crush on the local barista.
But Steven likes that kind of stuff.
That's true. He gets super.
He'd probably be into it, but that's
We'll
why
see.
I'm surprised he's never played PBTA, because I feel like he would be fit right in.
Yeah.
I feel like he would like it a lot.
Yeah, but yeah, so the last convention I was at, same one as Brutus, but 2019, and that thing was insane. I mean, it was like 65,000 or something like that, and it was just, I mean, even for me, it was just way too big. And you know, I understand it's gotten a little bit smaller, but you know, still sushing it out. Now, granted, it's great. There's a million things to see and do there, and I've been to Gen Con a million times, so some of it is a little, you know, I've been there, done that, but it's still really fun and nice to see just how much I think. Origins, I'm hoping, is just going to be me, Bob, Aaron, some of our friends like Steven from Roll for Combat, and some of our patrons who are going to be in the area, or some people who are even driving in or flying in. I'm hoping that we're just going to have the opportunity to just play games.
Hang out.
You know, I'm
Probably drink a lot.
I'm sure.
Hopefully after the playing game.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to eat well.
I'm not bringing that coin.
I've never played Fiasco sober, so
Yeah, we're gonna.
I'd never played Fiasco anything.
So step one is Bob gets to play some of our favorite con games that we've played over the years. You know, maybe Fiasco or Dread or Quiet Year or something like that. These kind of small micro games or mini light games, micro light games. But also, I'm going to bring some board games that I personally love and hopefully get an opportunity to play some of those. And you know, like I said, just bring a bunch of RPGs and just, you know, try to play them. And like you could even do like a, you know, like that's how NightCon conversation started years ago, was us talking about like how cool would it be to get with your boys, you know, or get with your friends, get with the ladies, go out, rent a cabin for like a week in the woods, and then just be like, we're gonna play 2 6-hour gaming sessions a day.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and you could basically do like an entire campaign in 1 week. And Bob was like,
I was like, I know there's gonna be a button here where I come in.
Yeah.
And Bob was like, oh, playing games all day. Oh,
I need to take a break.
I need to take a break or something.
Can I have my wife down the street so I can just go hang out with her, do some chores?
Can my wife and kids be there so I can do some chores? I need something to break it up.
I was doing so many.
Rui,
yesterday.
thank you for stopping in. Appreciate you here. I think Rui's in. Rui, are you in?
2 a.m. is.
I think you're in
6.
I think Rui's in
6 hours away.
Yeah, I think Rui's in Portugal.
It's gotta be just.
I think
just
it's
west of Europe.
I think they're in Portugal.
Yeah.
Rui, where are you from? Are you Spain, Portugal?
Yeah.
I think
we have a lot of people in the +2 UTC.
Yeah, UTC. Oh,
Yeah.
I hope they really response. But
Why weren't we invited, Boothby?
yeah. By the way, Boothby, Portugal.
Oh,
Portugal.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Man, look at how I'm so good.
I don't know. Boothby's players, though, I don't know if they would like
Portugal.
Derik coming in.
Boothby, I just finished up the last of the Bruiseberry jam, and it was a sad moment. Boothby sent me a Christmas care package.
Oh, that's nice.
Of coffee jelly and Bruiseberry jam.
Boothby's also been doing some like data crunching in the old Northern Reaches.
Yeah, that Tableau report's legit.
He's like, I hope I'm not overstepping you.
We like that Tableau report. That was nice.
That was good.
That's what he was like. I think he was worried that he was like overstepping me. I'm like, no, dude, I love data. Like, just send it out.
Yeah.
Give me the data.
I kept it all. Sorry.
Oh. Derik, where's that?
He also sent
where's
baked
that
goods.
drink?
I also kept all those.
Where's those drinks and food?
John is late, but you're here, John.
Welcome, John.
Welcome, John. Glad to
Any
have
questions, John?
you. Yeah. By the way, folks.
Open format.
Yeah, we're going to stop at 9.
I'm sure we missed the majority of your questions.
We might go a little late, but maybe like 9:10 or something like that. But we're not going to go too late tonight because we're not. It's not just me at home.
I got to drive tomorrow.
Yeah, Aaron, you're going down to Origins tomorrow?
Yes.
Is anybody else going tomorrow? Is Scott?
I think a couple people are.
Okay.
I think Steven from Roll for Combat is coming in tomorrow.
Yeah, we won't be there till
I think
Thursday.
Scott's coming in as well, something like that. So I'm sure you could probably call it. I'm not going up till Thursday. So
Okay.
Because originally I wasn't sure. I didn't think I was going to be able to get Wednesday off from work. So he's going to be there tomorrow, like 2 p.m.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I'll probably be in there after that. I travel. When I travel solo, I go super casual. Stop at the barn for a little bit.
Stop at the barn.
Lunch.
Get some barn. Yeah.
Grandma's cheese.
Grandpa's cheese.
Grandpa's.
Grandpa's cheese.
I don't know why I say grandma. Sorry about
Grandpa's cheese. Got to stop it.
that. That baby Swiss.
Oh, yeah,
baby
so
Swiss is legit.
Yeah, that was always a staple for us whenever we'd
Baby Swiss or just
well, no,
stopping at the barn?
just stopping at the barn.
Stopping
At,
Baby Swiss at Grandpa's Cheese Barn is really good.
I'm a big fan of their smoked and jerked meats.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Nothing like a good jerked meat.
Yes,
just before Origins.
especially when you're with your friends.
Jerked meat together.
Right. Well, that's what they do there, is they jerk it together.
Yeah.
Then I just come in to, enjoy it.
Enjoy it. Yeah.
All right. So,
And that's the kind of quality entertainment you could expect. That's
right.
Now that we're back in the studio.
that's right. Now, right. Enjoy it, because now we're, Sean, for goodness. We didn't say anything inappropriate.
It's all true facts.
But anyways.
Grandpa's jerked meat's the best. I don't know what you want.
Yes.
So
I think Grandpa's dead. But,
yes, he did pass away a few years ago.
yeah. Okay.
It was very sad.
Yeah. He's now jerked meat. So good thing Flax isn't counting on this video being monetized. Actually, my last 4 videos haven't been monetized because I just keep
Didn't you
playing.
get
To be fair, Yoshi P shared it.
Oh,
with
that's
you.
true. So right, I want to tell this to people who may not have noticed this or aren't members of our Patreon. I've been I played Paramore the other day, and whatever, Warner Brothers or whatever copyright claim me, and so they get all the money from my stream, not the tips, not the super chats, just the ad revenue, which to be fair for us is pretty minimal.
All $3 and $2.
Yeah, it's $5 to $10 tops. Anyways, so the other day we did a Fabula Ultima, which is Final Fantasy inspired. So I played Final Fantasy music, Prelude theme, Crystal theme, and I'm fully expecting to get copyright claimed, and I did. But I didn't even know this was a thing. I didn't even know this was a possibility. It said that they shared it. They were like whoever owns the copyright on that, whatever, Square Enix or whatever, was like, well, you know what? Great, we'll just split it together.
So nice.
And I was like, wow, I didn't even know that was a thing. But yeah, so good guy Square Enix.
Yep.
They got my vote.
Someone did ask about GM+1. I didn't really understand what that question was about. Someone playing with their kid across seas. I saw that question come in.
I did not.
Ask it again in the chat. The question about I think it was the kid going overseas.
Yeah.
Vin says Final Fantasy 16 hype. Yoshi P got to get his.
Yoshi P was low AWOL there though, because Tears of the Kingdom came out. He just got obsessed with that. There was they were doing a Final Fantasy 14 talk, and he's sitting there on set with his Switch playing it, and they're asking questions, and he's like, "What?"
Gosh.
Now I don't know anything.
He's back in the swing.
Now I'm assuming that this is going to be what, PS5?
Yeah, I think it's just PS5 exclusive, so I'm not going to play until it comes out on PC in 10 years.
Here's the question.
I guess it really comes down to is it going to be more emo boys in the car?
It's back to fantasy.
Well, there's a chance.
So what sort of GM+1 player games you know of? My GM's kids moving across the world with his mom, and with him goes his main gaming partner, hoping to run some stuff to cheer him up.
GM and a player.
I think you could probably get away with doing Ironsworn and Starforge.
Yes.
I think that would work really well.
Actually, those games kind of break down after you get 3 people, so 1 to 3 is ideal. That's very good.
Yeah, I would really take a look. I think they're very, they're very much more narrative focused, but because you don't really have to worry about, balance as much, and because there's a lot of work that goes into playing class-based games like Pathfinder, Dungeons & Dragons kind of rely on having a suite of skill, a party, So I would really look into a game like even Blades in the Dark to a certain extent needs kind of a party.
Yeah,
I think Ironsworn, anything powered by the apocalypse, kind of, because Ironsworn and Starforge are both powered by the apocalypse-esque.
Yeah.
All right. So everyone's telling me this apparently is a very brutal Final Fantasy version.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a lot darker.
I don't know. Well, you know what? If anything could get me to break my video game hiatus, it would be a good Final Fantasy. I always felt bad that I never played
14.
No, not
Superior game.
Somebody said the 14 was the superior game.
14 is the superior.
Yeah, I never played 14. 11 was enough for me, but I never played 13. I played 12, didn't beat it.
13 was meh. I don't think you'd have liked it.
Probably not, but 13 was like the first Final Fantasy I never played. I didn't play it at all.
You would have liked 13 more than 15.
Fair enough. And to be fair, I own 15.
I liked 15, but it's definitely not your typical Final Fantasy.
Yeah. So
I only played 7.
Cal says Final Fantasy 14 is so good.
It is so good. So good.
Yes, you're looking at a major realm reborner or whatever they call you. I don't even know what the term is.
Well, at this point, I don't know. I AFK in Limsa, so that's how you know you're pro.
Vin confirms that I missed nothing with 13, especially given my taste. Well, you know what? Maybe that'll be something fun we could do. Maybe Derik plays.
I definitely want like
Derik,
we're on movie night with Bob. We're having video games with Derik.
Derik plays video games and just sitting here just bitching the whole time, just being like, "Oh my god, this is so dumb.
Yeah,
this is so dumb. Why would they say that?"
We're gonna go through all the modern classics.
All
the MMOs, Skyrim.
What's that? You have to log into one of your accounts so it doesn't start fresh, like just in the middle of somewhere.
No, you got to have the horrible experience at the beginning.
This is actually an important question because you're a Final Fantasy guy and you were not in our Fabula. You were not in our Fabula Ultima stream. Mm-hmm. What is your favorite Final Fantasy?
Yeah, well, it's a tough question. I obviously love 14, but I assume that one doesn't count.
I'm gonna go with it doesn't count.
Okay.
Not because it's a bad game, but because obviously,
it's an MMO.
Obviously, being an MMO, obviously changes the
That
math.
being said, it still might be my favorite because it's a really good game with a really good story. But outside of that, yeah, I'm torn. It's probably between 1 and 6.
Right. Whereas I said on the stream, for me, it was between
yours is 4,
1 and 4.
Yeah,
exactly.
And 7's probably like third
7
place.
is very close.
Yeah,
it's like maybe a tie for 1 or 2, and then like 7 is like right there.
I think.
Which is the one with the suplex train?
So that is
6.
Final Fantasy 6. So
I
John,
just love the memes.
I am one of the people because here's the thing, John. I
agree.
7 is not overrated.
7 is overrated.
7 was fantastic.
I actually do
7's
think
a good
overrated.
game.
Yeah,
it's overrated.
I do think 7 is overrated. Yeah. I think it's good and I think it's fine, but whatever. But like it is overrated. Yeah. And here's the thing. Final Fantasy 9 I think is like the greatest crime of all time because Final Fantasy 9 came out. It was a PlayStation 1 game.
Right.
But the PS2 had already come out.
Yeah.
And people were so like over the PS1 that people slept on Final Fantasy 9. And I mean, number one, after playing 3, after playing 7 and 8, where you only had 3 party members, Final Fantasy 9 had 4 party members, and it felt so good. Yeah. It felt so old school, and like having like a black mage and like but it was like such a great mix of things, right? Because like you had the rat girl, Freya, I think was her name, and she was like a dragoon. She was like a lancer. It was so cool. I love it so much. So again, proving that you have terrible taste, Steven. Final Fantasy X is for me the worst Final Fantasy.
I will say I think I liked 10 more than Derik did, but I think Derik liked 8 more than I did.
Well, 8's kind of difficult to say because when I played 8, the first thing I did was get the Diablos Guardian Force,
right,
and then level it up so that I could get encounter no random encounters, right? Because all the boss
everything was leveled to you.
Level locked to you. I just ran through the game as quickly as possible, and I think I beat Ultimacia at like level 30.
Which was probably a more enjoyable experience for you because I actually played the game and I do not remember enjoying it.
Yeah,
the story was extremely confusing.
They got way like I'll be honest with you. As a kid, I was like 16 when I played Final Fantasy VII. If I knew then what I know now about what the story of Final Fantasy VII actually is, I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much.
I agree with that.
Where it's like,
also
I was still, the translation was a little sus.
Yeah.
And so I never understood that like Cloud was just like pretending to be Soldier and that there was this, I didn't understand the whole Zack story.
I mean, I kind of picked it up later, but then I was just like, why?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this?
Yeah. So
I regret not playing 9 as much as I should have. 11 was actually pretty good, but I didn't beat it. 11 was extremely complex, like mechanically and politically.
Yeah, 11 was too much for me. I played 10. I'll be honest with you. I never played 10.
Sorry, not 11. 12.
12 was the one with 12. I like 12. They went back to Ivalice.
I liked it. I'm just saying it was very complex mechanically and politically.
Yeah, agreed.
There was a lot going on.
There was a lot going on.
Like, I don't even think you're the main character.
Not so much. Yeah, but
which is fine. It just like
it was it was a very complex game. But again, I never beat it. But 10 and to be fair, 10-2 to me is the single greatest tragedy of all time, because how do you have a sequel to a Final Fantasy game? It defeats the whole concept of Final Fantasy. It's the Final Fantasy.
You mean like the Final Destination franchise?
Right. How can you have a sequel to Final Fantasy?
Final Destination.
But
10.
Horrible.
I mean, we kind of skipped over Tactics. I love Tactics.
Tactics was amazing.
Tactics was incredible, brilliant, fantastic
Tactics.
game. It was so different.
Yeah.
But Bob, you only played Final Fantasy 7?
7. And I played it on the computer when I was abroad in Italy, when I was like 20.
Yeah. I mean,
I played it way after you guys all played it.
No,
And I was like, this was so much fun.
They made a sequel to X because people really liked cosplaying as Riku and Yuna
Was that really why they did it?
and Lulu.
Is that why cosplay is a mechanic in that game?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, that is the mechanic in that game, is they get
I know.
pretty dresses.
Yeah, they get dresses. I never understood why that game existed.
I don't know. Anyway,
Especially, too, because 10 actually had a pretty strong ending.
also, you know what I think one of the reasons I didn't like 10?
What?
It had voice acting.
No, you don't like 10 because I ruined it for you.
Okay, you also ruined it for me. But here, I'm going to say something here. I don't like voice acting in games.
What do you mean voice acting?
When they
voice
speak
actors?
it. Yeah, I don't like it.
What do you mean?
I just want text. I hate the voices.
Oh.
I hate when they,
This is Derek telling you to
that's
get off
terrible
his
take.
yard.
I love the voice acting.
I hate it. I don't.
Why
No,
not?
no, that's
I already
not
read enough text.
It's
I
not
don't need
that-
to read anymore.
And I like every scene, like in Final
Give me a voice.
like in Final Fantasy, it's like 100%, like the days, it's like just the text box come up, next text box. Now, like every scene of dialogue is this like wannabe director.
Well, you're not going to want 16. It's going to save you 50 bucks,
So-
60 bucks right now.
So GM Scott says the first thing I do with every game is turn off the voiceover.
He turns off everything. GM Scott turns off shorts on.
Okay, I got
on
some
YouTube.
people agreeing with me, by the way.
I guess you're more
immediately
right.
turn
than
off
I
voice
thought.
in the sound in any game I play.
Oh, I love that's what I like about him.
Here's one thing.
The
I'll
story
tell you-
and the voice.
I'll tell you something. Like, I'll give you a great example of this. Eventually, I
like the Japanese voiceovers with the subtitles because I watch a lot of anime.
Yeah.
Because the American voice actors are terrible for the Japanese animes.
You bunch of weebs. I'm so cool. I listen to it in Japanese.
It's not so cool. That's how it is. They're in Japanese.
But then you have to read it,
Right.
get it.
which you don't like reading.
But I like the Japanese voice actors better than the American ones.
This is a
Why not the German
This
voice
is a
actors?
hyper controversial
Fair.
take, and I agree with it.
What?
Roll for Combat says Chrono Trigger was fine. Chrono Cross was better.
Well, you didn't play either of those, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Not till late. Not till years later. Not till years later.
Oh, somebody's triggered.
No, I'm not triggered. This is.
I thought Chrono Cross was great. I mean, Chrono Cross is.
This could be a topic
Oh,
for the
Demon
entire
Slayer,
night.
so good. Demon Slayer, so good.
I think. Well, Chrono Cross suffered a little bit from production, so they didn't quite do all the things that they were trying to do in that game, which hurts when the game is that complex. So I will disagree because I feel like Chrono Trigger was a better formed game with a more cohesive narrative. That being said, I love the scope and scale of what they were trying to do in Chrono Cross. I think the combat system was actually really awesome.
You could wield an oar.
You could wield an oar, which later got upgraded. The number of characters, the number of playthroughs in Chrono Cross were great. The music is some of the best. I mean, literally, I was listening to Chrono Cross music on my way here to work today.
I'm not even lying. One of the reasons it's my favorite is because of the music.
The music is phenomenal.
Fantastic.
The music is phenomenal.
I
So
just played like different games than you guys did. Like I was all about like GTA and things like that.
So
Not like these Diablo, or like I barely played Diablo.
You don't like games that make you think, right?
I don't know about that, but like, yeah, I mean, when you said great soundtrack, I thought about GTA, like San Andreas or Vice City.
Does that have a soundtrack?
Yeah, that's every time you got in a car, you stole a car. There's music on the
Oh
radio.
yeah.
so GM Scott said, what about my question? What
Oh
is
no,
a
we
Vlax?
love Sorrow shit.
I was going to go back to that, but yeah, Vlax is. I actually don't know where Vlax got his name from, but
I actually
oh wait, GM Scott, you didn't know? Oh, okay. I thought he was trolling us. No, yeah.
Oh yeah, Steven.
Vlax.
His name's Steven.
His name's Steven. But yeah, Vlax our Patreon member, GM Scott. Yes. A couple of things. Star Ocean has been a inside joke between us for a very, very long time. You asked, I've never played it, and I don't have to, because I used to have a roommate who's been mentioned on this channel a couple times before, who used to sit there and play Lufia, Rise of the Sinistrals. I think that's Lufia 2.
It's Lufia 2.
He would play it for hundreds of hours every time he did it, and I lived with him, and I was bored, so I would just sit there, in the living room and like eat cereal and just watch him grind in the mega dungeon in Rise of the Sinistrals, Lufia 2. Someone brought up Legend of Dragoon. Do you remember that game?
I do remember that game. I did not really like that game.
That game I did not like either.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the game where you had like Ash, Brock, and Misty.
That's right.
That's
From Pokemon?
yeah. They weren't actually Ash, Brock, and Misty, but there was like the Earth guy who was like big and slow and kind of used melee attacks.
Yeah.
And he had he only got he had like 3 slots, but they were very powerful. And then there was like the quick, Spidey girl.
Yeah. Who you just have her preempt heal every time.
Yeah, if someone
because
preempts
later
heal.
on, the combat was so messed up. in that game.
I think we're trying to remember Legend of Dragoon. I mean, that was probably easily 25 years ago.
You had the douchebag
you have to give us some
leader.
credit here.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a single playthrough.
Yeah.
So I'm disappointed in this chat, though. Where is the Xenogears love? Come on, guys.
Oh.
You ever played
or
Left
Xenosaga,
For-
yeah.
You ever played Left 4
Xenosaga.
Dead?
Yes, Bob.
Okay, those are the games I played. Like, none of these. I don't know any of these games you guys are playing. Like Legend of the whatever. I don't know. But Left 4 Dead was sweet.
Did you like the plot points in Left 4 Dead, Bob?
You mean kill the zombies?
Yeah.
Yes.
But sometimes it'd be a bigger zombie.
Yeah.
And sometimes your friend would get hurt.
Yeah.
Did you go save him, or did you run in the
And all that
helicopter?
stuff. That depends on the friend. I try to get to the safe zone.
Xenogears is not from the Wii. It's actually the PlayStation.
It was originally for the PlayStation 1. We're talking about the original Xenogear.
Yeah.
We're not talking about what's it called, like
Xenoblade.
Xenosaga Chronicles, Xenoblade Chronicles or
Yeah,
something.
there's lots of Xeno games out there, which all actually are weirdly connected.
Yeah.
Because like the guy that made the game kept moving from company to company until he made his own.
Right.
and-
Yeah, I mean, I honestly probably played more. I mean, I played a lot of JRPGs on consoles, but honestly, I probably
Oh, there's
played
Grandia 2 was fucking phenomenal.
Flax, you're here.
Black. Black's happy to help, buddy.
Yeah, take a look down there.
Oh,
Blax.
there's the answer. Black
Oh.
is my EQ2 character.
There you go,
There you go.
Smith.
Now EQ2 is a phenomenal game.
There you go, Smith.
I would say before 14, EQ2 is probably my favorite game.
I loved it until they made trade skills worthless, and I had to go adventure, and I didn't want to do that anymore. So Northern
Right.
Reaches, I understand your
You wanted to play New Dawn and Northern Reaches.
I wanted to play New Dawn and EverQuest. Yes. I just wanted to they made crafting really cool in that game. It could kill you, it attacked you. It was awesome.
making coffee and dying.
Yeah,
that sounds like
coffee.
real life.
Yeah. I was a furniture maker. It was a prelude to what I would eventually go
That's
and do.
true.
I couldn't do it in EverQuest 2, so I said, fuck it.
How would you do it in real life?
I will just do it in real life.
I love the craft that game. So good. It's such a good game.
It was a good game. But unfortunately, World of
Oh,
War
geez, Sean.
George.
Sean, big Sean, coming at us with a $50 tip. Sean, thank you so much. Thank you for supporting Vlax. I'm sure he appreciates it greatly. It's great that he can see that kind of support from you while he's here. And, we really appreciate having you all here. Obviously, we can't do this every, week for every person who's out there. But,
We are going to do other charity streams coming up this year,
absolutely.
though.
Yes.
And I just want to say something.
We are going to do some fun ones.
Obviously, this was an opportunity for us to come out and help out somebody who's been with us since the beginning, somebody who's been a huge supporter of us, and just such a fan favorite, especially from Northern Reaches Season 1, and really kind of helped set the tone.
Just a good guy.
Yeah, just really helped set the tone and guided so many characters to their deaths. But,
Every dollar you donate helps one more death in Northern Reaches.
Was he the one that was also convincing people to sell their soul?
Yes, that was him. He was the branded ambassador.
He was the branded ambassador.
So we have him to thank for the desolation.
Yes, $10 super chat coming at us from RoboCop Forever, who says happy to help Flax. Yeah, I mean, again, this really has nothing to do. This doesn't say anything about us. It really speaks to.
Oh, there goes James. He just had to find out who Flax was.
Okay, now that you know. Hype bosses are being traded here with savagery. GM Scott tipping $100. Your generosity cannot be easily easily quantified. GM Scott, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for helping out a fellow patron and just a gamer in need and a member of this community. And again, everything that you just seen here tonight, bookended by a wonderful tip from GM Scott and from so many of you, almost all of you. I feel like we saw more names tonight than we've ever seen in our life, and that's exactly what I want to see, right? Like, because it's not about us. Obviously we don't do this to make a payday.
We do it to buy lights.
Yeah, we do it. We just do this to buy lights. But
how many lights can we buy?
But what we really love
and
doing,
they're poorly set up, so they're just flashing colors for the whole stream.
what we really like to do this for is because we like the community and we like being a part of your community and we like building this community with you. And what you're seeing tonight isn't really about us. It's about our community members, showing support and love for other community members.
So John says, here's $50, but I was going to give you more, but then you shit on a Legend of Dragon.
No,
Hey, but I agreed with you on Grandia too, though. That was a good game.
Listen, I didn't say it was just, it was one of those early, I think it was like a PS1 release. It was really early and clunky. Or was it PS1 or PS2? It was like a really
maybe it was one.
it was like a really early clunky release. I think it was PS1. Like I think it came in like one of the rectangle boxes, not one of the square boxes. Like one of the square shaped boxes, like Parasite Eve or.
That's another one.
Didn't you guys play like Banjo Kazooie?
No, I actually never played.
I never played.
Game.
I actually never
man.
played Banjo Kazooie.
This is the games I played. Spyro.
Nope. Never played Spyro.
Nope. Never played
these
Spyro.
these are the ones I was playing. Mario Kart. That's
Okay, Mario Kart. I played Mario Kart.
I played some Mario Kart.
Everyone
Mario
played
Kart's
Mario Kart.
on the Super NES.
Yes.
Parasite Eve. I never played the second one, but the first one was
pretty good.
Was pretty good. But no, I was gonna say I probably played more computer role playing games than I did JRPGs. I played all the Eye of the Beholders, Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dales, Might of Magic.
Yeah.
God, there were so many of them. Some of the later Ultimas.
None of them.
Yeah. You didn't get into the wizardry.
I never got into wizardry.
That was more my thing.
That was you like to play wizardry.
Yeah.
I think Diablo was the closest thing I got.
Definitely not the same.
No.
Not even close.
I know,
Not
that's
even
like-
close.
Yep.
Diablo's like popcorn.
In fact, just like because I'm hip and I'm cool. Like I played computer RPGs pretty, especially through the Black Isle Studio days, pretty religiously. And then I remember the last one that I got it played was like
StarCraft?
was Neverwinter Nights.
Yeah.
And then I remember I think it was Oblivion
I
came
got
out.
super into Neverwinter Nights.
Okay. I remember that. But Oblivion came out, right?
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls 4.
Yeah.
And Oblivion was like the first kind of like mass market popular computer role
Yeah,
playing
because
game.
no one fucking played more.
Right? And between that and Fallout, I never played either of those. I never played Fallout. What's the one where you battle, you're underwater with the sisters? The Big Brothers, little sisters.
Oh, BioShock.
I never played BioShock. I never played any of these. Like once things got popular, I stopped.
Yeah, because you're a fucking hipster.
I stopped playing.
Oblivion is a phenomenal game. Just for the meme.
Another tip comes in from Tim Panda, another NR member.
I actually toyed with the idea of running D&D Pathfinder in City of Heroes AE system. What is AE?
I don't know what that is.
Did City of Heroes make a tabletop role-playing game?
I don't know.
All right.
Well, I'll wait.
I will say City of Heroes was a great.
Somebody did mention
MMO.
StarCraft, and that was a legit game. I
Yes.
played a ton of
I
StarCraft.
I played a
2.
shit ton of StarCraft. I played a little bit.
StarCraft 2
Derek
was so good.
lived and
Architect
breathed it.
Entertainment.
Yeah, I almost
I don't know that.
I almost dropped out of college because of
StarCraft.
because of the release
Oh,
of
Brood
Brood
War?
War. Yeah.
Hey, Brood War was not really.
Oh, okay. City of Heroes AE was the archetype environment where you could make your own adventures. Oh, right.
Yeah,
the adventures.
that's awesome.
I mean, City of Heroes was such a revolutionary game and
Yeah.
in so many different ways. And, City of Villains was also the same way. I feel like it was popular, but I don't feel like it never got super popular. I never played any UMS garbage, okay? I played ladder StarCraft, okay? I played real maps. I played ladder maps. I played deathmatch. I never played UMS, okay?
What kind of maps did you play, Bob?
I played in ladder.
Okay.
I was not good. Then I just played with my friends. Like we would just go online 2v2 each other.
Respect.
Our one buddy, Tim, his brother's brother, his best friend's brother was like real high up in StarCraft, like ranked.
Yeah, I mean when StarCraft 2 came out, Wings of Liberty, I was
StarCraft 2.
Yeah, I thought you made diamond pretty quick.
I was diamond like almost instantaneously.
I couldn't keep up.
I
you
played.
fell out of StarCraft 2 really quick, though.
I did. So this might have changed the course of my life forever.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, I remember this like it was yesterday. I don't remember exactly what year it came out, but StarCraft 2 came out, and I was playing a lot, and I was getting really into the ladder and rank. And obviously, in retrospect, I was never going to beat any Korean or anything like that.
Correct.
They're just so much better.
But I was really, really, really into it, and then they released a patch, and for whatever reason, it didn't work with my graphics card, and suddenly I was getting like 15 FPS, or 10 FPS. It was horrible.
This is when you start hating video games.
And I was just like, I guess I can't play, and I just stopped playing, and honestly, never went eventually Heart of the Swarm came out, and I bought that, and I played.
Heart of the Swarm.
And I played the single player campaign.
Yeah.
But I never went. I never went in and played it online. Like getting that pivotal moment, like it was like a 1-2 punch. Like I couldn't play StarCraft 2 anymore, and Diablo 3 kind of let me down. And I was just
like Diablo 3.
And probably the Warhammer.
Yeah, I was
MMO.
gonna say Warhammer Online was around this time.
Warhammer Online was around this time too.
That was a big disappointment for everyone.
And he's like, you know what? Tabletop role playing.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm done with all this. I really
much.
I doubled down into board games. It's really
You get super into board games, and later on, I guess.
and then later super to Magic. Yeah. Exactly.
Oh yeah.
So gaming was still a part of my DNA. It just evolved into more tactile, physical things. All right, everybody.
How do we do for Vlax? Those look like
really
large
good.
numbers.
Those are very, very large numbers.
Lex, I hope this helps and helps with all your.
Obviously, there's some minor fees and stuff that goes into it, but it looks like we raised over $700.
There you go, Vlax.
So let me this is for everybody out there. Just
thank you
a round of
guys.
Applause for all of you all. Thank you so much for helping us. Thank you so much for showing us why this community is amazing. You've heard it here before. We definitely want to do some sort of 24-hour extra life charity. We've talked about taking this whole table, covering it in one gigantic Dwarven Forge map.
When you say Dwarven Forge, it means Dwarven Forge Plus, because I don't know if you have enough to do this whole table
With the unpainted black ones.
Yeah,
I have because I have my original order.
Okay, so I only remember the boxes I've seen.
Right. There's the other.
I think I still have some of his boxes.
There's the other boxes.
Okay, maybe you do have enough then.
With the Dwarvenite. The plasticky one.
Yeah.
We just need to paint it, but spray it, it would be fixed. Anyways, cover this whole thing and just do one big mass death dungeon crawl across have tips, people tipping and to kill players and just to be a complete shit show.
Wheel of Pain.
Wheel of Pain times 2.
I have enough to do half of this table in the stuff that I have.
Right. But do it all for charity.
Forge,
Because, one of the things that's been so nice for us is, we've been able
I want those death markers.
We've been able to
damn death markers.
We've been able to invest into this endeavor, and we do that through obviously sets and lights and cameras. We also do it through prizes and gifts and giveaways, and we're able to do that because we are all very fortunate and blessed, and we have been very lucky in our lives. And so gaming has been an incredibly important thing for all of us, and I think it shows how it can bring people together, and things like tonight really highlight that. And so I just want to say thank you so much for the incredible support that you showed to our friend tonight.
Absolutely. He's a good guy.
He really is. And we're happy to do it. And especially for someone, like I said, who has just demonstrated their quality again and again and been with us since the very beginning.
On how this community made it easy. So
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Bob, any final thoughts, saying words, comments, anything you want to say before we want to go?
If you're in the Patreon, if you haven't liked and subscribed to the video, but if you're in the Patreon, if you're in Northern Reaches or if you're in Patreon, love to see you there. Love to talk about this great community. We have so many great GMs. If you're in the Northern Reaches, thank you so much for being a part of that great community for Pathfinder 2. It's going to be awesome. I, as my part of the team, are going to be in Origins this weekend, so I'm going to be very limited this weekend. I'm going to do the best I can to keep up with you guys, but don't worry, I'm still there.
Smith, anything final? Mr. Lebowski?
get fucked.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you again to everybody coming. We're going to try to go live from Origins. We're hopefully going to be joined here by some of our friends from the channel. And I know last year we were able to do some podcasting, which of course was great. We could get that out. But, the technology has evolved. And hopefully I'm at least hoping we can go live. Maybe our typical Thursday. We'll see what we can manage to pull out. But stay on your toes. Look for any sort of announcements. I might post something to the Patreons or to the Discord or even just to the YouTube channel. Kind of give you some rough ideas because schedule it's not as quite as in control. But we would like to at least some point over the course of the weekend do at least one live show. And of course we're going to be doing some definitely doing some podcasts with our friends, and we'll be sharing those with you, everybody, when we get back. So I think that's going to wrap us up for us for tonight. So on behalf of Mr. Smith and Bob, I just want to say thank you so much, and we'll see you next time on Knights of Last Call. Bye, everybody.